Hello and welcome into the ChatGPT prompt engineering. Build 11 GPT apps with no code. I'm your friend and I'm your best instructor in the whole entire world. I'll just for fun there. And I actually have best-selling international courses worldwide in online marketplaces, and I've been known to be an AI wizard. And I've mastered AI throughout the years, and basically I've been using AI ever since it's in creation. I know how to firsthand show you how you can utilize AI and employ it in real life to 10x and to basically accomplish more in less time and to automate a lot. So AI is here. The wave is here. There's not many people trying to learn about it. And this actually reminds me of the era back when the internet first came out. There's not many advocates of the internet, but look at the internet now. And so AI is going in that direction, and I believe that we must learn about AI. And not only that, we must master AI because it's really going to be a game changer in the world. So here's a little bit about the course structure. You must know this. So here's how this is going to be. We're going to introduce you to ChatGPT because we understand that the more you know about ChatGPT, the better, because it is really the tool that we're going to utilize mostly through the course. And so we have to introduce you to it. And believe me, if you have not been introduced to it properly, this is the perfect time. Then we're going to talk about ChatGPT plugins. And what are plugins? What do they do? What is their use? And we're going to introduce you to DALL-E, which is an image generation tool inside of ChatGPT itself. And then we're going to introduce you to the GPT store and the GPT builder, since that's where we're going to be for the most part in this course. We're going to be building GPTs. And so that is done inside of the GPT builder. And we're going to show you also the GPT store and some GPTs there. Some of the GPTs in the GPT store have actually been created by powerful brands like Canva. We'll get there. And then there's a practice module in which we're going to create 11 apps with no code. We call them the GPTs, and I'll show you how you can basically take those apps and publish them onto the GPT store and make them available for anyone to use them. So if there's anyone that wants to use your apps that you've created, they can use them and they can see your name, and you can actually even link to your website from the GPT or from ChatGPT so that whenever someone sees your GPT, they can say if they're interested, they can go to your website. In case you don't want to add your website, you're completely free to not do that. And then there is the conclusion and wrapping up. I hope that right now you are excited towards this course as I am, and I will see you in the next lecture. So what to expect from this course? What should you expect? In this course, you should expect to learn how to create and publish custom GPTs. We call them custom GPTs, and you'll be able to publish them in the GPT store for everyone to use. Consider them as little apps. So, for example, picture yourself or someone trying to create a logo. Now, they could either go to a freelancer, hire a freelancer to create a logo, or they can create it themselves if they are designers, or they can actually go and learn how to create it. Either way, it is not fast, okay? And it's also not optimized. With ChatGPT, there is DALL-E 3, which is a tool inside of it. And it enables you to create images, and it can be logos with text on them, which could take years to learn. It does it in the most optimal way, and we can create GPTs to enable people to create logos with prompts, with text, okay? So they put a text, they create a logo. Let's picture it another way. Let me give you another example. Let's say that someone is trying to code a 2D game with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. They don't know how to code in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Well, we can create a GPT app for them that they can utilize to create that game code without any coding skills. Let's say that, for example, someone wants to check for plagiarism on their content. They don't have access to tools such as Grammarly, or they don't really want to have a membership in Grammarly. They happen to have a ChatGPT membership. They want to check for plagiarism. We can allow them to check for plagiarism using a tool which is very simple. Let's say that someone wants to create content. They want to create SEO optimized content and they don't know how to do it optimally, or they know, but it takes a lot of their time and they want to do it using a tool. We can help them do that through a GPT app, okay? It will help them create SEO optimized blog posts or articles. Let's say that someone, for example, wants to write Facebook ads. We can actually create a tool for them that would become their Facebook ad manager, that would create Facebook ads for them regarding any specific thing. All of this can be accomplished. Let's say someone wants to write a book. They can either write it themselves, hire someone, or learn to write it. And I can tell you from experience of actually writing my own book, my first ever book, I wrote it myself, and it took me a long time to write it, 3 months to be precise. And that was before ChatGPT back in 2018. It was quite a struggle. I've learned a lot since, but it took me quite a long time to self-publish myself. We can use ChatGPT to create a program, a tool that can help you in creating a book in no more than 1 hour. And yes, it is ethical. We can help you create a GPT that can create YouTube banners, YouTube thumbnails, and so on and so on and so forth. So there is huge potential to what you can do inside of the GPT store by creating GPTs, and we will enable you to do that. So are you excited? Because I am. I'll see you in the next lecture. Well, hello there and welcome in this lecture in which I will just briefly introduce you to the skills that you will learn in this lecture or in this course before moving on to introducing you to ChatGPT altogether. Now, you might have heard of the concept of prompt engineering, and it's actually one of the most sought after skills at the moment. We're actually talking about. So it is really an important skill, and it consists of actually finding a task. So finding a worldly task that is still carried out by an individual and creating a prompt or a series of prompts that can enable ChatGPT to accomplish that same task. So it's basically the art of replacing a task by a chatbot. That's particularly what it is. Then you're going to master effortlessly creating GPTs, which are the new apps. Believe me when I tell you that. So back when the App Store was first introduced, not many people believed in the App Store, but look at it. Now we can only look back with regret because right now at this moment, there's a lot of people that have made millions from the GPT, from the App Store. Now the GPT Store is the next opportunity, and this is your opportunity right now to learn how you can create GPTs. And it's effortless. So now that you know what skills you're up to learn in this course, I'll see you in the next lecture, which is going to be the definition of ChatGPT. Stay tuned and I'll see you then. Welcome in this lecture. Now in this lecture, we will define what is ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is an AI language model, which basically was designed to understand and generate human-like text based on an input. And this input, we call it text as well. In most cases, we call it prompts. Hence why the term prompt engineering came. So picture it like this. It's a chatbot, much like a chat where you basically type something, except for this time you're going to get a response, not from a human like you, but you're going to get a response from an AI which was programmed to know a lot of information. It will answer a question and it provides information across a wide range of topics because it was trained based on a lot of data. Now, back when ChatGPT first came out, it was actually programmed at the data of 2021. The company behind ChatGPT is OpenAI. It's the company that created ChatGPT, and the idea has been there for a long time. So coming back to the training data set, ChatGPT is a static chatbot. It's not a dynamic chatbot like Gemini AI. A static chatbot means that it was programmed at a specific amount of data. Back when it first came out, it was programmed at the data up to January 2021. Now, as we speak at this moment, the data which ChatGPT is programmed at is that of March 2023. So there is, as you can see, it evolved. So basically now knows more, programmed on a lot more data. But that is only for the ChatGPT 3.5 version, because I'm going to introduce you to something you must be aware of. So ChatGPT can generate text. Not only that, it can also now generate images with DALL-E 3, which was previously DALL-E 2. Also was created by OpenAI. There's also a new company that OpenAI has launched, or a new software, AI software at OpenAI is going to launch in the future, which is Sora, which is a text to video. And you'll be stunned as to how much the quality, or how huge the quality of the videos are. And it can generate up to 1 minute of video footage. So those are the 3 products of ChatGPT: image generation, text generation, and video generation incoming. So now that you know the definition of ChatGPT, in the next lecture, we're going to talk about the 2 different versions of ChatGPT that exist. Stay tuned, and I'll see you then. Hello there, and welcome in this lecture in which we're going to introduce you to the versions of ChatGPT that exist. So there are 2 versions of ChatGPT right now as we speak. There is GPT-4, which is the plus version. It's a paid option. And then there is GPT 3.5. Now we'll start by GPT 3.5 right here. What are its advantages and inconvenience, basically capabilities, and who was it created for? Now, let's move on. Back when ChatGPT first came out, there was no GPT-4. So GPT 3.5 was the base GPT model. So everyone could use it for free. And of course, everyone could use it, but you're limited to 1 hour of usage, in which case you can go and search for the infamous message that ChatGPT used to generate every time you use it for more than 1 hour. They used to basically literally tell us to just go ahead and go take a walk and come back, because they were just chasing us away because of how many people were using it. So it was billions of people using ChatGPT. There was so much strain on the tool. And so, yes, it was for free, but you could only use it for about 1 hour a day. And then you'll have to wait hours and hours in queue so that you can get your spot back again and use it again. Plus, GPT 3.5 is not the most complete version of ChatGPT. Yes, its answers are faster than GPT-4, but it is programmed at March of 2023. So it's not a GPT model that knows current information. So if you ask it about something that happened today, it wouldn't know, because it was programmed based on information up to a certain point in time, not more than that, okay? And not less, of course. And it can only accept text, so that's what you should know about it. So now that you've been introduced to GPT 3.5, let me talk to you about GPT-4. GPT-4 is the pro version, and it costs $20 per month. So you have to pay $20 per month. I pay $20. Recently, they've introduced a new membership plan, which is called Team. So you can give it access to up to 3 team members only for $25. So I'll accept 3 accounts for $25. That's quite a deal. Plus, you have more advantages to getting that plan because there's more. I think maybe 60 prompts per every 3 hours. That's what you're allowed. Now, if you're using GPT-4 or the Plus plan, you are limited to 40 prompts every 3 hours. So you cannot send more than 40 prompts every 3 hours. If you surpass your limit, you'll have to wait until you can refill your prompts. Now, GPT-4 can process images such as files, Excel spreadsheets, PDFs, Word docs. Just imagine the possibilities. You can upload a document such as an Excel spreadsheet of massive data, and you can have ChatGPT analyze that data and give you feedback and be your data analyst. If you have a PDF of a huge book that you can't read yourself, you may want to use ChatGPT to create a summary for that particular PDF. You can actually do that. If you have a Word doc, you can insert it, and it can even improve it. If you have images, you can upload them. It can interpret images, any image, that of maps, x-rays, even though I highly recommend to confer with a professional, because ChatGPT is no doctor at all. But it can interpret any image you give it. And yes, even tests. So if you have a test, you can upload an image of a test, and it can interpret that as well. Not only that, it can actually answer questions. It can answer them, right? And I've actually even tried this. Now, GPT-4 is better than GPT 3.5 in many ways, except for from the fact that you can only use it for 40 messages every 3 hours. And by the way, if you have the Pro ChatGPT membership, you're not limited to use GPT 3.5 only for an hour. So if you have GPT Pro, the advantage is that you can use GPT 3.5 for as much as you like. You're not limited. but you are limited for GPT-4, 40 messages every 3 hours. Now, GPT-4 is better than GPT 3.5 in the fact that it can actually browse the web with Bing. So its knowledge is not limited to the knowledge of that of March 2023 like GPT 3.5 is. GPT-4 is not limited to that because it has access to browsing with Bing. Why browsing with Bing is because there's another competitor of ChatGPT, which is initially came out as Google Bard. Recently now there was a name change to Gemini AI, and there is a Gemini AI advanced version, which is also a premium version that you have to pay somewhere in between $25 to get. And so you can see that things are getting heated in the world of AI. Now, Gemini actually browses Google directly. And so ChatGPT thought back when Google Bard, now Gemini, because Google Bard, when it first came out, had the ability to browse the web, which was not something that ChatGPT had. So the OpenAI team thought of a very simple thing. Okay, we have GPT-4. Let us have a solid relation with Bing, and let's browse the web with Bing. And that's how it came to be. And the good news is that it benefits us because now we can browse the web with ChatGPT. We can get responses from the web real time. Now, some of the greatest capabilities of ChatGPT-4 is that it can generate images through DALL-E or DALL-E 3. Now, they're not writing it there. They're only writing DALL-E, but it is DALL-E 3, for those of you that might ask. The reason why I insist is because before DALL-E 3, there was DALL-E 2, and it was a separate website. It's actually still out there. You can find it. If you go and search for DALL-E 2, you can access it. It's an entire website in and by itself. And it's a software that can generate images created by the same company that created ChatGPT, which is OpenAI. I've introduced you to it. And so basically DALL-E 2, now DALL-E 3, is integrated inside of ChatGPT. So can you imagine how fantastic this is? You can now generate images with prompts. There's also another feature inside of GPT-4, which is advanced data analysis, which paralleled or basically also add to the fact that you can upload data. You can upload an Excel spreadsheet, and you can do advanced data analysis. And so the sky is the limit. And then GPT-4 gives you access to plugins. Plugins are actually a way for ChatGPT to plug themselves into ChatGPT. So for example, a company like Canva, they see the traffic that ChatGPT gets. They know there is millions, actually 100 million visitors every single day, regular visitors that is. They want to catch some of that traffic. So what they've done, they've created some plugins, and these plugins, they actually are related to ChatGPT, and people can start going from ChatGPT to those plugin owner websites like Canva, Pictory AI, Google Sheets, and so on and so forth. And so this is it when it comes to this. In the next lecture, we need to talk about plugins, which are key. We're actually going to go and talk about them in detail in about 4 minutes max, and I'll see you then. Stay tuned. In this brief lecture regarding plugins, and of course there is practice, so don't worry. We're just introducing you to the notions so that when we go to the dashboard, you can actually navigate your way a lot easier that way when you know the notions. So plugins. Picture it this way. Let's say that you want to create an Instagram post or an Instagram reel, and you want to use the Canva plugin inside of ChatGPT to talk to ChatGPT about giving you some choices and basically giving you some ideas about Instagram Reels, but most importantly, because of the Canva plugin integration, you can ask ChatGPT to suggest some templates from Canva. Not only will it suggest these templates for you, but it can also give you the links to go and find those templates, and directly to the template. Actually, it gives you the link directly to the template, and all you need to do is click, and you can combine ChatGPT and Canva to create the most awesome designs. There is another most awesome thing, which is the fact that there is a Canva GPT, which is much better than the Canva plugin. We're going to talk about that later, but that's what plugins are for. And also there's many plugins. So there's plugins that can enable you to access your Google Sheets, to access a PDF, and to do a summary of a PDF, plugins that can enable you to do YouTube transcription. There's a lot. You'll actually be very surprised to know how many. And then there's the crypto price checker to check crypto prices, up-to-date prices, and so on and so forth. But that's not all, because there is also another thing that you must understand regarding ChatGPT, and that is the GPT store. And the GPT store is basically what the subject of the next lecture is. Let's go and talk about it. Like I said, of course, there's the practical side of the course in which we're going to do hands-on experience. The next lecture will be the final lecture in which we're going to see some slides, and then we're going to move on to action inside of ChatGPT. Stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next lecture. In this lecture. Now, in this lecture, we're going to discuss the GPT store. So, before the App Store came out and after it came out, there was not many people that could say, well, the App Store is the next flood of money. Many people then were looking at it as some normal thing that was happening. There was a lot of people that took the opportunity. They went and they created a lot of apps. And some were successful with very few apps, even one app that made them millionaires. Now, of course, that is basically gone now. There is a new opportunity in GPTs. So picture GPTs as the new apps and the GPT store as the new App Store. So inside of the GPT store, there's many GPTs, and every GPT can do a task that a human can. So there's Canva GPTs that can design for you. It can design anything you want using Canva without having to do it yourself or to hire a designer. There's GPTs that design logos. There are GPTs that write code for you. There are GPTs that interpret code for you. There's GPTs for code debugging. There's GPTs for writing. There's GPTs for anything you want. And so there is a big opportunity. I just wanted to make that clear before we move on. You're learning how to create these GPTs, and you should really be very happy because it's really one of the best things. So now that you've been introduced to this, in the next lecture, let's go to the ChatGPT interface, and let's get started with the first prompts and also introduce you across the interface, what you should be aware of. Stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next lecture. Hello and welcome in this lecture. Now, in order to access ChatGPT, you must go to the website by OpenAI and then basically try ChatGPT. And the link to it is chat.openai.com. So once you're actually in here, the first thing you can notice is on the left-hand side at the top, you can click right here. If you click, you have two versions, GPT 3.5 and GPT 4. Now you can enable GPT 3.5. It's the free version of ChatGPT. If you go back and click, notice that I have plugins. I can activate plugins if I wanted to. I can also go back and activate GPT 4 because I have the ChatGPT Plus version. I can go back to GPT 3.5. Now, plugins are only available to GPT Pro users, but there are cases in which you will not be able to see it. If you want to make sure you see the plugins, scroll down here to the bottom left-hand side, click on your name or your profile, and then here, click on Settings. And basically here, click on Beta Features, and make sure to set this to Plugins Active. In general, you can set this to a dark theme or light theme, or a system theme, whichever way you'd like to go. I just so happen to think that the dark theme is good, and so I'd like to keep it. Inside of Settings, you can find your archived chats. You can basically delete all chats if you want to get rid of all the chats that you have by just clicking on the simple button. If you go to Data Controls, you can see here that your chat history is contributing to training, and basically the chats or unsaved chats are deleted from the system within 30 days. So you must make sure that if you want to preserve a chat, that within those 30 days you make sure you basically save it. Then the build a profile here is very important. I'd like you to make sure that you activate this. And the build a profile is what's going to enable you to basically log in to the GPT store, and it's necessary. Now, just make sure you activate it, and here you can see that there's your name, but you can also connect this to specific links by clicking right here and enabling a new domain. By clicking Verify New Domain, you can add a domain right here, such as passive income genz.com. And you can click submit. But you will have to make sure you verify ownership by navigating to your DNS provider and basically adding a text record with this, right, in your DNS text record on your website. And you have to come back right here and click on check. In my case, I'm okay not putting my website out there. But you can click now to go out. One other thing you have to know about ChatGPT is that you can click again here. You have this option, which is customize ChatGPT. If you click it, it will take you right here to what we call the custom instructions. So in the custom instructions, you can actually have ChatGPT interact as a sales manager. You can have it interact as a marketing manager, marketing director. We're going to talk about this more later. Now, let's leave this and let's go to GPT 3.5 and experiment with the first couple of prompts. The first prompt that came into my mind, and you have to remember that GPT 3.5 is the free version. You can use it free. You're limited to 1.5 hours. But you have to understand that you can only add text. So you can only input a text, nothing else. Now here, let's ask it to generate an SEO optimized blog post about dinosaurs in the Ice Age. So let me go ahead and type that in. So here I basically typed it in. Generate an SEO optimized article about dinosaurs in the Ice Age. And if you hit enter, it's going to basically start generating. At any point in time, you can click right here and you can stop it from generating, in which case you can see that right now it has stopped generating the answer. If you would like it to continue, you can scroll up to the top and then hover here and then click on this little edit button and you can click save and submit. At the same time, if you'd like to change the title, maybe you can change this to dinosaurs, just dinosaurs in another age, or you can say about 10 dinosaurs in the Ice Age, and you click save and submit. And right now it's going to basically generate a whole new article. You can pause at any time. Now, also one thing you have to understand about ChatGPT is that sometimes it may pause. So it may pause generating a response. If it pauses, you will be able to see a continue button right here, or sometimes even right here. And you just have to click it and it will continue generating the response from the point where it stopped. So the only thing you can do in GPT 3.5 is add text. Let's experiment with another prompt. So let's say what happened today in politics. Let's actually see. So as you can see right now, it is basically giving us this response that its data set, I know I've said March 2023, it's actually the case. But generally speaking, sometimes it might give different responses. The reason why I said its data is cut off to March of 2023 is because I actually watched an OpenAI event and they said it there. Maybe things have changed, but its data is not current. GPT 3.5 does not know information which is current to date. Just wanted to make that clear. So now we can move on. Let's add another prompt. Let's ask it to generate, for example, a video script, YouTube video script about dinosaurs, a video about dinosaurs. So here I said generate a YouTube video script for a 5-minute video about dinosaurs. If I hit enter, it's going to take that in and basically generating the script. So here, as you can see, it is generating the script, the opening shot, what the narrator will say. There's a transition, then there's a narrator, and then there is a cut to animation, so on and so forth. So it's the regular script. And so now I hope that you've been introduced well to GPT 3.5 because next we're going to have to go and talk about GPT-4 and its capabilities. And we're going to talk first about the upload document. We're going to test the upload document feature, and I'm going to show you what it's capable of doing. See you in the next lecture. Now in this lecture, we're going to introduce you to ChatGPT version number 4. So let's get right into it. So here, I would like you to click on this blue button. Make sure you activate GPT-4. And once you have done that, it will start a new chat. Now, the concept of chats. Anytime you click right here, or anytime you change the version of ChatGPT or go back and forth in between plugins, GPT 3.5 and ChatGPT 4, you are going to be moved on to a new chat. Now, a chat will only be active if you ask your first prompt. Now, we can use some of these conversation starters, for example, and those conversation starters will get ChatGPT started. And now you can see that this has the title, New Chat. At any given time while ChatGPT is generating an answer, if you click right here, you will stop the answer from being generated and you will start a new chat. If we go back to that previous chat by clicking here, you can see that the answer was stopped in this track. Now, you could say something like continue, and in which case it's going to start continuing the process of generating the rest of the content. I can pause this, and anytime you want to name your chat, make sure that ChatGPT is not generating any content. Hover over to the left-hand side right here where you can see this new chat. Click there, and then click on rename, in which case you can name this chat whatever it is that you want to name it. So I can name it content marketing, and that's it. Now it has a name, content marketing. I can click here, ChatGPT, it will start a new chat. I hope that that is clear. So now let's go to GPT-4. Now in GPT-4, we have DALL-E, we have the advantage of browsing the web with Bing, and we're limited to 40 messages every 3 hours. Let's get some experimentation here, and let's start utilizing this tool, which is the upload feature. I'm going to go ahead and upload a book that I have personally written. So I've actually uploaded a book called The 226 ChatGPT Prompts. It is a ChatGPT Prompts Engineering Bootcamp. It's a PDF. And now that the PDF has been uploaded, you can see I can actually ask it anything. So I can say summarize. So I basically summarize this book into 10 bullets. So if I hit enter, it's going to take into consideration the PDF. As you can see, it's reading the documents, reading the PDF, interpreting it. And it's going to take into consideration my prompt, which is summarize this book into 10 bullets. And so now it's going to take in that book. And in 10 bullets, it summarized the book. And here's the response it got me. The book, 226 ChatGPT Prompts, A to Z ChatGPT Prompts Engineering Bootcamp, appears to be a comprehensive guide offering a wide range of ChatGPT prompts designed for various applications, including marketing, social media management, SEO optimization, coding, content creation, data analysis, and more. And so as you can see, I can still keep reading, but you can clearly see that ChatGPT is good at interpreting PDFs. Now let's have it interpret another type of file, which is an image. So I'm going to take an image from my computer. So it's an image of a dog brand logo, and I'm going to say, interpret the image. And it will interpret the image. As you can see, I've added the image. It's that of a dog. And now it's going to interpret. So it's basically saying the image appears to be a logo featuring a stylized representation of a dog's face. It uses clean lines to depict the dog's features and so on and so forth. So here's one great thing. I'm actually going to say, I said reverse engineer the image into a prompt and entered. And now it basically is going to create a prompt that could enable me to create that image. And since we're at GPT-4, we have access to DALL-E 3. So now we can take in this prompt and we can use it to generate the image or an image similar to this image right here. So here, as you can see, it's still generating the response. By the way, it's absolutely normal that GPT-4 is quite slow. So it really is very slow. Now there is the prompt. I'm actually going to take the prompt, copy it, paste it in a new chat, and hit enter. So right now, it's going to utilize DALL-E 3 to generate this image for us. As you can see, it is creating the image. So I only need to sit and wait, and it will create an image that is similar to that one. Okay, so right now, it has basically taken that prompt and generated an image. So if I click, now we have a brand new image that looks a little bit reminiscent of the other one, which you can download by clicking here, except for it will download it as a WebP file, so it's not a PNG. Now, you can actually solve this by clicking here and copying the image, and then you can go to a software such as Canva.com, for example, which I am in right now, and you can basically create a new file. And then in that new file, we can basically put the image. So because this is a logo, I'm going to click on custom size here. And I'm going to make this into 512 at 512. And then I'm going to click on create a new design, in which case it's going to create a new design for us. And I can proceed on to copy paste the image. So the image has already been copied. The only thing I need to do right now is to hit that Control V button, and it's going to basically copy it here inside of Canva. So I'm going to click Control V, right? And now you can see in a moment, the image is going to be here. What you can also do, if you don't want it to be circular, you can go to Elements, and you can look for a circle frame. There's many circle frames out here. And basically there's this. I'm going to pick this one. It's a frame. Click. And I can take my image and drag it there. And now basically we have an image and I can make it bigger. There you go. And you can give it a name, dog, logo. I can click share and I can download this as a transparent background because I have access to Canva Pro. But this is a solution of how you can download these images and how you can make them into formats that are acceptable by most software out there. PNG, JPEG, and so on and so forth. So now that we have basically experimented with generating images, let me show you how good ChatGPT is at interpreting Excel spreadsheets. So here we have this Excel spreadsheet with dummy information. Nothing here is real information. All of this is actually dummy information generated by ChatGPT. So all of these people are not real people. All of those emails are not real emails. They're dummy emails. So we're going to take this file right here, which contains name, email, age, gender, occupation, city, and interests. Supposedly a file that contains data about sales. And I'm going to take in this by uploading this file. So this is an Excel spreadsheet this time. And I'm going to ask it to basically generate. So what I asked, the initial ask is generate an advanced data analysis linear regression of this file. And let's see what that does. Now, we have activated, or we have the advanced data analyses activated, which means that it can basically do advanced data analytics. And so it's going to take in this file, take in my prompt, and generate a response for us. All right, so it basically gave us a response. Except for it says that from the given data, the only numerical variable available is age. Okay, so basically there's not enough data for it to conduct linear regression, but it got the point. And I hope that you get the point. This is really powerful. The fact that ChatGPT can interpret data from files that you can upload to it is a really powerful thing. And so you can imagine what you can accomplish with this. So now with this in hand, let me introduce you in the next lecture to plugins, and then we'll move on to the GPT store. Now, in plugins, we're going to view a couple of plugins. I'm excited for it, and I will see you in the next lecture. Now, in this lecture, I'll introduce you to plugins. Now, make sure that you have plugins activated by going to your name, clicking on settings, click on beta features, and make sure your plugins is activated. Now, once they're activated, you can click right here, switch off to plugins, and now you can use plugins, except for the fact that if you do this for the first time, chances are you have no plugins here, or you have a few plugins. Now I'm going to click right here. Now I want you to scroll. Now normally you wouldn't really need to scroll because you have no plugins. Click on the plugin store. And here we are. So inside of the plugin store, here's what you should know. There are featured plugins or popular plugins, and these ones are actually featured by ChatGPT's OpenAI team themselves because they trust these plugins, such as AI Diagrams, which is a plugin that can help you create diagrams. AI PDF, a plugin for PDFs. Ask the Code, a code plugin that can enable you to ask code, right? So it provides GitHub repository URL and asks about any aspect of the code. Ask your PDF in case you want to ask questions from your PDF, such as summarize the PDF or summarize a specific chapter. Chat with PDF. Diagrams show me, doc maker, so on and so forth. On the next page, there are more plugins such as Earth, Expedia, Kayak, and so on and so forth. And on the third and the final page, there is Prompt Perfect, Scholar AI, and so on and so forth. Smart Slides to generate AI-powered PowerPoint presentations, VoxScript, Wikipedia, and so on and so forth. These are the featured plugins, but these are not all the plugins that exist. If you click on all, it will open up Pandora's box of plugins. So here you can see that we have way more plugins because we have way more pages. In every page, we have at least 8 plugins. Actually, that's the number of plugins in every page, so 8. You can multiply it by 129, so that basically is more than 1,000 plugins out there. So, yeah, approximately 1,000 plugins. But the most popular are these ones. If you'd like to search for a specific plugin at any point in time, you can come around here in the search, and you can search for example for Canva. I already have it installed. You can search for any plugin that you'd like. So there is plugins for all tastes, and let me show you some of the plugins I personally installed. Now let me explain each one. Starting from the first one, which is Access Google Sheet. By the way, you can only enable 3 plugins at a time. So if you have more than 3 plugins enabled at a time, I would recommend you that you go ahead and actually even deactivate all the plugins so that you can have 0 plugins activated to give you more freedom. So here, let's start off by enabling AI diagrams. Access Google Sheets is a plugin. Access Google Sheets is a plugin that can access Google Sheets. And I think that the feature inside of GPT-4, which is to upload files, is better. You may have also noticed that when you activate plugins, you don't have this option to upload files. And you also don't have many other options such as DALL-E. You don't have options such as browsing the web. But you have plugins, okay? So AI Diagrams is a plugin that can create diagrams, and I can show you an example right here. Let's say you want to create a customer persona diagram for people interested to buy computers. Let's go ahead and type that in. So here I said generate a customer persona diagram for people interested in buying a computer. I can hit enter. And I have AI Diagrams activated as the only plugin, so it will immediately recognize I'm trying to use that plugin. So I'll basically utilize it. As you can see, it has basically used it and now created a diagram for me. This is the diagram, and also it has given us the full view. If I click this link, it will take us to the website behind the plugin, because for every plugin, there is a website that has created it. That website is trying to take advantage of ChatGPT because of the traffic they get. So they create a plugin that extends to ChatGPT. This one is very useful because you can create diagrams with prompts. As you can see, as complex as this diagram is, it was created in no more than 1 minute. And that's the beautiful part. The other beautiful part is that they give you the link to access the entire website in case you want to customize this. If you don't like computer written here, you may want to write computer 2 or computer 25. And that customizes it. And of course, that is if you know this tool, which doesn't really need much formal training. But I can click out and go out. Let's experiment with more plugins. Let's say you're looking for a job. I'm going to deactivate AI Diagrams. Ambition is a plugin that can enable you to find jobs. Let's say you're a software developer living in San Francisco looking for a job. And you want 150K as the minimum salary per year. As you can see, I said I'm a software developer looking for a job in San Francisco for a minimum of 150K US dollars per year. If I hit enter, and because I'm using the plugin Ambition, it's going to basically go ahead and give me a response. Now here, this is not the response that I was intending to get. So here, I'm going to say, use the plugin and find me a job. And I can click save and submit. And right now, it's going to utilize the plugin Ambition. Now here, it is not providing us with that. So basically, I think it didn't quite get that we have the plugin active. So let me activate it one more time. I'm going to pause it from answering. I'm going to paste in the prompt again. I'm going to say, use the Ambition plugin and find me a job. Okay, so here it's saying I can't quite find a job. All right, so there you go. I'm going to just pause it. I think there might be some technical issue with the plugin Ambition, but anyway. Now, ask your PDF is in case you want to ask your PDF, and this actually is a substitute to the feature which was taken down because we're using plugins, and is only able, we can only be able to use it if we activate GPT-4. So this plugin acts as a plugin which can help you accomplish that. Canva is a good plugin. Let me show you why. Let's say you're looking for an Instagram reel for coffee, right? You're a coffee shop. You want to create an Instagram reel about a coffee. Now you can say, I own a coffee shop. Suggest an Instagram reel template for my shop. If I hit enter right now, as you can see, it's going to proceed on to give us. So here it's saying creating an engaging Instagram reel and so on and so forth. So I can see that this chat has actually been botched. So here I'm going to actually go ahead and copy this, go back to a new chat because this chat has been botched or compromised. And actually, this can happen sometimes that a chat makes no sense. Just create a new one. And now I'm going to basically paste in the prompt. All right, so right now it is using Canva. It has used Canva. And now it's going to basically suggest us some templates that we can use in this regard. The first one being beige, simple coffee shop Instagram reel. Not only that, it actually even gives you a glimpse of what the template actually looks like. And also it gives you the link so you can click either here, normally, or on the link itself, and you can go to that particular coffee template. If I clicked on this one, it will take me immediately to canva.com. And as you can see, it took me to the template. And I can right now start the creation process of creating my coffee post on Instagram. And as you can see, this is what it looks like. So, and it's really beautiful. And not only that, it's still suggesting more and more and more templates. I can pause it from continuing the generation process. And right now we can activate another plugin. I could keep the Canva plugin active, and I could activate Cooper. Now, Cooper is a plugin that can enable you to basically find out coupons online. Let's say you're looking for a pizza discount online. I'm looking for pizza coupons. I can hit enter. Now it's basically giving us a response. So now I gotta say that my question was not really the best, because I could have went for something different. But generally speaking, Cooper is a good plugin if you know how to use it to find out some good coupon prices. Crypto Price Checker will help you check crypto prices. Diagrams Show Me is pretty much similar to AI diagrams, as in it can help you create diagrams. edX is a plugin that can enable you to link to the company, the website edX, which is a learning company, in case you're looking for courses or in case you're looking to draw a learning curve. Expedia is a great plugin in which case you want to buy basically bring your trip to life. You want to go on a trip. Golden is a plugin that can actually get you factual data on companies. So if you'd like to get data about companies, you can get it using this plugin. Instacart is a plugin in case you want to order ingredients for a specific meal. So if you're looking to cook pizza, you can say, I want ingredients for pizza margarita. Use the Instacart. Now, sometimes you don't really have to say use Instacart because it knows. But generally speaking, right now, it's going to go ahead. Okay, so here, as you can see, it basically has given us basically the pizza ingredients and also a link to Instacart. And we can click here and it will take us to Instacart, in which we can basically order ingredients for our pizza. There it is. Now we can actually go back and look at more plugins. If I scroll down, you can see that we have the Kayak plugin, which is a plugin that can search flights, stays, and rental cars to get recommendations where you can go on budget. One-word domains is in case you're looking for a domain and you want to know whether that domain is still available for purchase. OpenTable can help you book restaurant tables. So if you'd like to book a restaurant table in a specific given country, you can use this plugin and it'll help you do that. Pictory AI can transform your script into video. So you can write something, a prompt, and it can transform you into Pictory AI, in which you'll find a video has been created for you. And the good thing is that you can edit that video with Pictory AI. Playlist AI or Spotify is basically Spotify. So if you want to create a music collection, you can do it from here. Then Speak and Speech Key are two plugins that can enable you to turn text into audio. Tasty Recipes is where you can go and get tasty recipes. There is an AI for that, is a plugin that can enable you to find out all about the AI tools that exist. So for example, if you want to know if there is an AI that can create text to video, you can actually just type it inside of this plugin, and it will give you all of the tools that can generate text to video. Trip.com is in case you want to book a trip. Visla is in case you want to generate a video, and it's basically similar to Pictory AI. As a matter of fact, it is a competitor of Pictory AI. VoxScript is a very useful plugin. It can enable you to transcribe a video, and let's go ahead and have a try with this one because it's really interesting, because I can show you real time how you can transcribe a YouTube video. Make sure you activate the plugin. I have a video right here, which is that of Shark Tank. I can actually copy this video, head back into ChatGPT, and I can say transcribe this video. And I can paste in the URL of that particular video. And it's supposedly now it's going to basically go ahead and access it. So here it says I'm not able to access links. Okay, so I can pause it. I can go to a new chat because I need to go to a new chat. I'm going to deactivate one of the plugins that I have here. So Crypto Price Checker, and I'm going to activate the plugin Web Pilot because this plugin can browse the web. And I'm going to basically add the same prompt and say transcribe this YouTube video. And I've added the comment, transcribe this YouTube video with VoxScript. Now I believe if I hit enter, it's going to transcribe. Now, the reason why sometimes you might get responses that are not what you're looking for is simply because you're in one chat and you're using too many plugins. That can create a conflict between plugins. And so it's better off that for every chat or for every plugin, if you want to use it, create a separate chat for that. So if you want to book a trip using trip.com, it's better to do it in a chat where you just ask it for the first time about that. So a chat dedicated just to that trip. And better if you didn't ask any question before regarding another specific topic. So as you can see here, it has basically transcribed the entire video for us. And this is the entire video transcript. And if it was a video larger than this, it would have transcribed it. And so let's get more and see more plugins that exist. WebPilot, basically I've just talked to you about it. This plugin can actually browse URLs. And let me show you an example of what I'm talking about. I can go and take a page from my website, Passive Income Gen Z, and I can do some on-page SEO. I can copy this link, and let me show you some magic. So this is my website. Now, if I go right here, I can say do on-page SEO for this URL. I can paste in the URL, and because I have the WebPilot plugin activated, it basically is going to do that. Now here, it didn't quite do it. So basically, it's giving us all these things that go into on-page SEO. Now I'm going to go to a new chat here. And I'm going to make sure there's only one plugin activated, which is WebPilot, because WebPilot can interpret URLs. So going to that chat right now, I'm going to say do on-page SEO for this. I can hit enter. And normally, it's basically right now going to use WebPilot. If not, then I'll know there is a technical issue, which can happen from time to time. Okay, so there's clearly a technical issue here. I'm going to pause it from answering. And let's scroll down. Now, the final plugin here in my list is Wolfram. And it's a plugin that can enable you to solve complex math equations. It's one of the best plugins out there in case you want to solve complex math and physics equations. And it's really the best out there. So this is it for plugins. I'll see you in the next lecture in which I'm going to introduce you to the GPT store. And we're going to preview some of the GPTs and what amazing feats they can do, such as the Canva GPT. Stay tuned and I'll see you in the next lecture. Now in this lecture, I'll welcome you to the GPTs and to the GPT world. So if you want to explore GPTs, at this left-hand side, you can see that we have the option. Click Explore GPTs, and it will take you to the GPT store. Now, we're not going to create a GPT just yet. But let me introduce you to some of the GPTs that exist here. Now, there are the featured GPTs here, which are the top picks by OpenAI. This one is for golfers, Golf GPT. This one is a GPT that can enable you to transform drawings into artistic styles and describe them. This one is a Greetings AI card. And if you scroll down, you can see some trending GPTs, such as this one, which is an AI generator. It basically specializes in generating images. Logo Creator, which would create logos for you. Write for Me, which is a GPT that can write for you. Cartoonize Yourself is a GPT that can enable you to cartoonize yourself. Consensus, and so on and so forth. We have DALL-E. Actually, DALL-E is integrated with ChatGPT, so we don't really need to use it. Creative Writing Coach. Hot Mods, Coloring Book Hero, which will generate coloring book pages for you. And so on and so forth. So if you scroll down, you can see way more GPTs. And there are even some companies that you can recognize that have their own GPTs in here. So for example, even V.io, they have their GPT here. Slide Maker, they have GPT. InVideo AI, they have their GPT. And so on and so forth. And if you scroll down, you can even see some very famous companies such as Khan Academy and so on and so forth. Kayak. So basically, you have GPTs for all tastes. Now, let me show you one GPT in particular, which is one of the best discoveries I have made, which is Canva. So if I click on the Canva GPT, it will open it in a new chat. It will keep the previous ChatGPT tab open. You can go back to it anytime. And let's try Canva GPT. I think it's the best. So here, let's say you want to create a Instagram post about coffee. I'm going to say create an Instagram post about coffee. If I hit enter, right now it's going to go ahead. Hello, excited to bring your vision to life. Start your creative journey. What message would you like the Instagram post to convey? So you can say the benefits of coffee in the morning. So let's say you want to post about the benefits of coffee in the morning. You don't really want to do it yourself. Let's click on allow to allow Canva to do it for us. This one is different than the Canva plugin because this one actually does the job. It does the job for you. So you don't need to go to Canva and do it yourself. Imagine what kind of discovery this is in the field of social media marketing. So if you're a social media manager, for example, say goodbye to designing things yourself because you can just design things for people using AI. And notice right here that it has created the post for us. It has given us two options, first one and second one. I'm going to go with the first one. As you can see it right here, it is live. It has created it. Now, it's not optimal. You can basically customize it, make sure there are no mistakes. For example, here, I can see that these need to be ungrouped. So I need to ungroup some elements and make sure that things are not cramped up as they are. So this one, I need to lower it down. But besides that, there's nothing else I can do here. I can just download, and this is good. Instagram post, number 1. Now I can click download, and now I got myself an Instagram post created in less than a minute. I can download it. And good thing about Canva is if you have Canva Pro, you can actually share these on Instagram directly without having to go to Instagram. I can close this right now. Think about something else you want to create. Let's say you want to create a pizza reel. So I'm going to say, I want to create an Instagram reel about pizza margarita, and I can hit enter. Right now, it's going to take that in. And here it says, what theme message you'd like to specify. I'd like to specify how delicious. Delicious. So that's it. And it's going to basically create an Instagram reel. Make sure you allow Canva to do this. And it will give you two options as always. It is using Canva right now, creating an Instagram reel for us about pizza margarita. And we just have to pick an option. So the first one is this. And then there is another, actually here in this case, it did not quite do what I asked it to do. But it basically has suggested to us some pretty good templates here that we can use. Now, I'm going to go and open a new tab in which I chat with the Canva GPT here because I think that the chat has been basically not what I want. And now let's do one thing. Let's say you want to create presentations, a sales presentation to sell an iPhone. So you can say, I want you to create the sales presentation to sell the latest iPhone. And if I hit enter right now, it's going to basically accomplish this. All right, excited to bring you. What will we design together? Creating a sales presentation on iPhone. Could you share more about the key features? Okay, I'm going to say it's iPhone 15 Pro Max. And I'm going to stop at that. So let's say if it's iPhone 15 Pro Max, now I can allow it, and it's going to basically go ahead and proceed on to generate a sales presentation, assuming that I'm a sales guy and I'm trying to generate a sales presentation for iPhone 15 Pro Max. So as you can see, it is talking to the Canva plugin and basically generating a response for us. So here's the first presentation. So here I can click on this presentation, will take me to Canva, and I can find it's a presentation pre-made for me. And I can use this for the subject of presentation. What a great thing. So now you can create presentations on the go, super fast. Of course, this is completely customizable, so you can change things around here. You can add images, delete images. But the bottom line is you can see now that we have a full presentation with information about iPhone 15 Max, and we can basically present this as sales reps. Now, you might want to be interested to ungroup this, for example, and take this a little bit down, as you can see, because there's a distance that needs to be respected. You can move this up a little bit. But generally speaking, it tries to stay quite accurate. Of course, there is a part that you need to do. So you can't just take the presentation exactly as is without looking at it. But generally speaking, it really does a pretty good job of generating a presentation for you. So I hope that you've liked it. Now let's go and experiment with one other plugin here. For example, Logo Creator or another GPT. We're actually going to create our own 11 GPTs. So we don't really need these, but we're going to create some. Logo Creator. Generate a logo featuring ice cream. This is a conversation starter. Make me an app icon for RPG adventure game. Let's try one of these conversation starters and see where that leads us. Right, so here, basically asking us some questions. Would you like the icon to be vibrant, neutral? So I'm going to actually say A as my answer. And so it's basically have taken that. Now on scale 1 to 10, would you like the complexity design? I'm actually going to want it to be complex. So I'm going to go for 10. And so this is the basic plugin. It basically asks you questions. I'm actually going to go for A, just trying to get it to generate the thing for me. I don't know how many questions they have programmed it to ask me, but it certainly is asking us a lot of questions right now, which can be quite annoying. I don't want to create a GPT, or I don't want to show you, I can show you to create GPTs that ask questions, but generally, the more questions you ask, the worse it is, because people want the logo to be generated. So if you continue to ask them 10 questions, they're going to think, well, when is the answer? So here, as you can see, it has basically created this simple logo for us. And we could try to do something like this in the future. But generally speaking, right now, I think that you've had enough of an introduction to the GPTs and GPT world. You've taken a tip as well, which is basically using Canva to do your job now as a social media manager. I hope that you use it for full capacity. But apart from this, I wish you nothing but the best. And I will see you in the next lecture, in which we're going to create our first GPT, which is going to be a GPT that creates logos for startup businesses. Stay tuned for it, and I will see you then. Hello there, and welcome in this lecture. So the first GPT that we're actually going to create is a startup logo creator. So let's get right into it and go create our startup logo creator GPT, which is going to be targeted at startups who want to create logos. So let's get right into it. So there's multiple ways of how you can create a GPT. And there is my way of creating a GPT, which is far more optimized. So I'd like you to open a new chat right here. And I would like you to activate GPT-4. And I would like you to do the following. So here's my prompt. Now I want you to pause the video and take this prompt. Make sure that you write it. I want you to create a custom GPT named Startup Logo Creator that asks 3 multiple choice questions about the nature of the logo and then designs the logo for any startup. Write a sequence of 5 prompts that I could use to program the GPT inside of the GPT builder. I want to copy paste these syntax prompts directly into the builder, so make them compliant. And now I want you to hit enter. In the meantime, while it is basically generating a response for you, as you can see, it's prompts that are compliant and you can copy paste them directly. So that they're like code. I want you to open up another ChatGPT tab. And then I want you to go to the GPT store this time by clicking on the Explore GPTs right here at the left-hand side. By clicking there, you'll be able to go here. And right here at the top, you see this little green button at the top right-hand side. Click on that green Create button and it will take you right here. And we can immediately start the creation process of our GPT. So right here, let's go ahead and copy paste the first prompt, which should be a conversation starter. Type it in and just paste it in and wait for the answer. Now the GPT is going to be updating. As you can see here, it has given us an answer and you need to read it. It's saying, I'm thinking of naming the GPT logo Wizard. Does that sound good to you, or do you have another name in mind? So here, I'm actually going to give it another name. So I'm going to say Startup Logo Creator, and I'm going to hit enter. So now it's going to make it Startup Logo Creator. Now it's going to suggest a logo for our GPT that will display itself right here on the right-hand side, which is the preview side. So as you can see right now, it's basically generating the logo for us. So it says that here's the initial profile picture for Startup Logo Creator. Do you like it, or would like to make any changes? If you don't like this, you can say, I don't like it. Now I'm going to say, I want it to be more representative of our brand. because we are startup logo creators. So we want to display the skill of our GPT to create logos. So I don't like that logo. Now it's going to generate another logo for me. And it's doing it through the DALL-E integration. I like this one. I think it's really good. So now I'm going to say, yes, I like it. And remember that you have a cap of 40 messages every 3 hours. So if you surpass 40 messages, you may not be able to add more. So make sure you use your messages wisely. So now I want you to look at this option here as well, which is the configure option. In the configure option, you can rename your logo creator if you'd like. You can also give it a description. You can also write instructions here. Now the instructions, they're going to be changed in time with the prompt, so I don't need to change them. And you can change the conversation starters, which I honestly recommend you to not do so, because these conversation starters are going to be changed based on the prompts here given by ChatGPT in the other chat, but you can change them if you'd like. So for example, you could say, what logo, what is the name of your company, or your startup. And now it's going to add it here, as you can see. And it could be a conversation starter that I can click at. And it will immediately take that in and start answering me. But because we have not yet programmed our GPT, it will not give it the response that we like. So if we scroll down here, you can see that we have the option web browsing, DALL-E image generation. Make sure they stay active. And you have the action to add code interpreter. And you can create custom actions like connecting to a specific API if you would like to connect to a specific API. In case, for example, you're trying to create an AI content detector, it might be useful for you if you connect to a specific AI content detector website's API. So I'm going to go back to create here. And now there's 4 more prompts actually that we need to add. Prompt number 2. Copy prompt number 2. Go back right here and paste it in. Go back into ChatGPT. Copy prompt number 3. And as you can see that these prompts are actually programmed. So you just copy paste them. Right here, as you can see, we have reached a limit. So I would need to wait until I can use my prompts again. So I will see you in the next lecture in which we're going to complete the process of programming this magnificent GPT. Stay tuned for it and I will see you then. Back. Now in this lecture, we're going to complete the process of creating our GPT. So we were at prompt number 3, which is to set color preferences. I'm going to copy that and come back right here, basically just regenerate the answer regarding the other prompt, which was there. So prompt number 2 didn't quite run. Now we're going to run prompt number 2 and then paste prompt number 3 just in time. And we're going to have to wait until the other answer is being generated. Just hit enter on the 3rd prompt. And then there is only 2 more prompts left. So there's prompt number 4. And then there is prompt number 5. So we'll start with prompt number 4 by copying it. And as you can see, this is getting better and better and better. So now prompt number 4, paste it in, hit enter. And finally go back into ChatGPT and copy prompt number 5, which is what I'm doing right now. So here we are. And now we are ready to go ahead and experiment with our startup logo creator. So you can see that the process is very smooth of creating these GPTs. Now let's basically type this in, hit enter, and I'll show you how you can publish the GPT and then we can go ahead and test the GPT. So it's updating the GPT with the last and final prompt. And this is a good GPT to publish, because it can get you a lot of interest. A lot of people would be interested in this startup logo creator. So now it is done. You could click on this little green button right at the top and make sure that everyone has access to the GPT. And then here in the category, you can post it in a different category. Now, I would not post it in a different category than DALL-E because that is the category. Because DALL-E is basically for creatives and for people that like to generate AI art. And so I think that that is good. So I'm going to just confirm. And that's that. And now we have our GPT published. Anyone can use it, and it looks good. So here, let's start the conversation. We have these conversation starters, such as what is the name of your startup, what colors represent your brand, describe your startup's values, do you have any symbols in mind? So I'm going to start a conversation by saying I have a startup, an e-learning startup. So let's say that someone has an e-learning startup. They would like to start a conversation. They're looking for a logo. So here it says, that's fantastic. E-learning startups play a crucial role in making education more accessible and flexible around the globe. Let's design a logo. Could you share your startup's name and any specific symbols, colors, or themes you'd like to include in the logo? So here, let's say that my startup's name is Passive Income Gen Z is the name. I would like there to be green color and purple. Okay. And also a money theme. And so if I hit enter right now, that's it. So it says great choice. Passive Income Gen Z has a modern, engaging ring to it. Perfectly suited for a startup focus on educating the younger generation, so on and so forth. Let's visualize. We could break design sleek, modern, pigs, stylized and way to settle. Okay, so I'm just going to say go ahead. Or I'm going to give it a go ahead because what it's doing right now is giving me an option. So it's telling me, do you agree to what we are visualizing right now? And it gave me a full visual. And here it's basically going to shortcut Passive Income Gen Z to pigs, which is also another abbreviation of the name of my company, Passive Income Gen Z, so pigs. But here, as you can see, it has basically generated a logo. Now, I would say this is not greater than my own logo, but still has made some grammatical mistakes. Now, I would like to change this. I'd like to say, make Passive Income Gen Z bigger and show a bag of money in the background with a big golden dollar symbol, and do not make grammar mistakes. Now I can hit enter. So as you can see right now, this is the new logo, Passive Income Gen Z. Now it still has made a mistake. So I'm going to say, make sure to write passive 100% accurate. No grammar mistakes. And let's do one final shot at this because we can't show the logo with these mistakes. Passive income, it's not even readable. Now the Gen Z part of it is readable. They basically certainly put a bag of money with a dollar. So they captured the essence of the business, but this can be improved. The colors, the green and the purple, they've already also showing them, but you'd have to reiterate. And so right now gave us two options. So, here you have this, first option, which is Passive Income Gen Z. Okay. So actually I'm going to click out. And then here, I think I've refined a logo to capture Passive Income Gen Z, presented you prominently correct grammar. I think this one is correct, but it's not really the best logo that you can get. But the bottom line is that this tool right now is capable of basically creating logos for people, as you've seen, and it can clearly create them. And you can find all your GPTs by looking here at the left-hand side, right below ChatGPT. You can find them all there. Actually, at this moment, I have 16 because those are the best. But generally speaking, we could have a lot more. So now that we have generated this GPT, the next GPT will be an expert at writing ads, Facebook ads, that is. And so I'll see you in the next lecture in which we're going to go ahead and show you how you can create a Facebook ad expert. Now, you might not be able to use the word Facebook in our GPT name simply because of the fact that it's a trademark name. So it's a company, Facebook. They're definitely not going to allow us to use their name. But generally speaking, we're going to create a GPT that is specialist in creating ads. And not just that, we're also going to program it to create images that go along with those ads that can be used, such as mock-ups, a creative, basically. So stay tuned and I'll see you in the next lecture. Hello there and welcome in this lecture. Now in this lecture, we're going to generate the prompts that are going to enable us to create our Facebook ad GPT. So let's get right into it. I would like you to stay on the same chat that we have used, which was basically the chat in which we have asked ChatGPT to create these syntax prompts. that enabled us in the first place to generate that startup logo creator. We're going to stay in the same chat. And so for now, let's go ahead and let's get right into it. So here, the prompt that I'm going to basically give it is I'm going to say, all right, so in a similar way, I want you to write syntax prompts to create a Facebook ads copy and act as a copywriting expert, and also add the feature to generate an image as a creative for that ad. So people can use this tool to generate converting ad copy as well as image creatives that go along with it. So the bottom line from this prompt is that I want ChatGPT to create syntax prompts like the ones that we have created here to create our startup logo creator. What we want to do is we want to then take those prompts and they should be able to allow us to create a GPT. That GPT should be able to basically create a Facebook ad copywriting expert that not only creates GPTs, that should enable us to create a Facebook ads copywriting expert that creates Facebook ad copy. And not just that, it should also be able to generate an image that goes along as a creative with that Facebook ad copy. So now the only thing I have to do is to hit enter and proceed. Okay, so right now ChatGPT is basically generating the answer for us, starting from prompt number 1. In the meantime, I don't want to be aggressive in going fast, so I'd like to take it slowly. This is a separate chat. I'd like you to keep it open. Do not close it. So keep it open. While ChatGPT is generating the response, I'd like you to go to a separate other ChatGPT, which is Explore GPTs. So click there. And once you're here, click on this green button at the top right-hand side, and that should get us started. We're going to try to create our GPT in no more than 8 prompts. So we have 5 here. And of course, we'll have to answer a couple of questions along the way. So we'd like to keep it in the region of 8 prompts. So I'd like to copy prompt number 1 here and go back into the GPT builder. Paste it in. After you paste this in, it's crucial that you must talk to the GPT builder because it's going to give you suggestions about what would you like to name your GPT. Also, it's going to suggest some logos, and that is branding. So here, the GPT builder is talking back at me. I'm thinking of calling the GPT Facebook ad wizard. To be honest, I would not say Facebook ad wizard. I would say ad wizard, right? Ad wizard is good. Okay. So now this is 1 prompt. After the first, this is 2, so 2 prompts. And now we should use 1 more prompt to generate to agree to the profile picture. Actually, in this case, I think I can use 2 prompts at once, but that's conditional of the fact that I must like this logo that it generates at first. So here, this is the logo. Well, it looks pretty good. I think it's pretty good. Now, there's the Facebook icon here, which might be problematic, but though I'm going to keep it. And I want to see what ChatGPT says. And I'm going to actually go back into ChatGPT itself and copy prompt number 2. So go back, paste in prompt number 2. Before that, I'm going to say, I like the logo, and I'm going to say, and now, and I'm going to paste in the prompt. Right. So here, it basically pasted the second prompt. I'm going back and forth. And now I'm going to go for prompt number 3. Remember that you don't have to use all of these prompts, but you should use them because it's optimal and it's optimizing your GPT. So here, it basically is talking back at me. So I'm going to paste in the 3rd prompt, hit enter. And of course, make sure you copy paste the prompts only after the GPT finishes updating. And then we can move on to the next section, which we're going to try our GPT to create Facebook ads for a specific product. So here, I'm going to paste this in. And then there's one last prompt, prompt number 5. Actually, there's more. There's 2 more. Okay, so here, so something is wrong. So I'm just going to click regenerate. That should solve the problem. Sometimes, like I said, ChatGPT might stop generating an answer for you. Do not stress. Just click on regenerate. And in any case, remember, you can always go back to the GPT builder. And I'm going to show you how you can do that in the next lecture. Just in case you've lost your GPT and the GPT builder, you want to go back to it, you don't know how to do that. I'm going to teach you how to do that. But now, as you can see, it's basically giving us another feedback. I'm going to paste in this prompt as well and go back for prompt number 6. And then there is prompt number 7, which is the last. So I'm going to paste in prompt number 6 just in time. So this, remember that this not only generates ad copy for Facebook, but it also generates an image that goes with that ad copy in case the person would like to use that image as well. So here it's basically giving us the answer. Once it stops, you will have this button that you can use to send a message. So we'll send the 6th message, and then the prompt number 7, which is the final prompt, which is for images. So it should program the GPT to understand that it should also create images that go along with the Facebook ad copy. So here, let's paste in the final prompt and let's hit enter. And yes, we have now done it. We have created our GPT. These are the conversation starters, which are helping me create a Facebook ad for brand awareness. I need an ad to boost website traffic, generate a lead-focused ad copy, create an engaging ad to do this. So these are conversation starters. Now I'm going to click on this green button and make sure that you publish this. Now, is it DALL-E? Actually, I'm going to go more with writing because this is a writing tool. And I'm going to click on confirm. And hopefully it does publish without any problems. So yes, it actually was published, and now we're officially here. Now, I said I'm going to show you how you can go back to the GPT Builder in the next lecture, but there won't be any reason because I can show you how to do it from here. So here we are inside of Ad Wizard, our GPT that specializes in creating ad copy. If you want to go back to the GPT Builder to maybe put in a couple of more prompts, maybe you want to program the GPT an extra bit, you can always click right here and click on this Edit GPT button. In which case it will take you back to the GPT Builder and you can start editing it back. So as you can see, we're back here. And now we can always go back. Now it's already published, as you can see, so there's no reason for us to do anything of the such. But in the next lecture, we're going to use this GPT to create some Facebook ad copy for some specific products out of our own imagination. Stay tuned, and I will see you in the next lecture. Now in this lecture, we're going to experiment and we're going to test our GPT that we have created, which is the Facebook Ad Wizard. So let's get right into it. So here, let's start off with a product. So let's say that we're, for example, selling a product that helps people to become more stronger at the gym, to lift more. Let's say it's a protein. And we want to create a Facebook ad not for driving leads or driving traffic to the website, but we want people that actually want to buy. People that want to train, for example, for that extra 15 minutes on top of the already 2 hours that they train every day. And there's a market for that because there are some people that would like to put in some more work, but they want something that might be helpful in this regard. Let's say we have that product, but we want to create a Facebook ad for it. So here, I'm going to start plain and easy, very easy. All right, so here's the message or the prompt. I have a protein powder that helps athletes train 15 minutes more each session, and it costs $29 for 5 kilograms. And my goal is to get sales, generate Facebook ad copy, as well as great image creative, showing a muscular man with a lion's face and shirtless. This is actually something that these tools can do. So I know that you may have seen some ads of some people doing this already. So they're showing a hybrid between a man and a lion, a man with the dinosaur, with a rhinoceros's face, or with a lion or a tiger's face, all muscular. I'm sure you've already seen those ads. So here, as you can see, it basically is writing the ad copy for us. And the ad copy starts by saying, unlock the beast within, push harder, train longer, and unleash your full potential with our revolutionary protein powder designed for athletes who demand more from every session. Our formula is a secret weapon to add a crucial 15 minutes to your workout every time. Special offer, 5 kilograms, just $29. And dive into your transformation journey and so on and so forth. Rise above, train longer, be unstoppable. That's a pretty good ad. Grab your pack now and feel the difference at day one. And right now is basically creating an image that depicts what we have described, which is a muscular, shirtless man with the powerful, majestic face of a lion, embodying whatever that is. And to be honest with you, I really like this image. I think it's going to be extremely great for an ad copy. So it's going to match. It's going to go with it. Plus, you can take that image and edit it in Canva by adding some kind of a button or something that says buy now or add to cart, even though I think just the image by itself doesn't need any more help. Just this image alone will really help you get a lot more people interested. As you can see, these are really some amazing images, and goodbye to Photoshop and stock photo websites. So this is product A, product number 1. Let's try a different product. Let's say that this time around, we have a product that can help you read faster. Maybe there are sunglasses. Let's say there are sunglasses, or there are a type of glass, eyeglasses that can help you read faster, and they're amazing. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so here's my prompt. Generate ad copy to sell eyeglasses that can help people read 3 times faster, and generate the image for it as well. So if I hit enter right now, it's going to proceed on to generate that for us. So an ad copy to sell eyeglasses, also an image. So here's the ad copy. See the world differently, read thrice as fast, introducing our revolutionary eyeglasses that redefine your reading experience. Engineered for the curious mind, our glasses are not just vision aid. They're a gateway to unparalleled efficiency. Triple your reading speed with optics designed to enhance focus, reduce eye strain, and support faster cognitive processing. Whether it's for study, work, or pleasure, these glasses will transform the way you read, making every minute count. Embrace clarity, embrace speed, dive into your next book, or report with the confidence that you're not just keeping up, and so on and so forth. And of course, the call to action, which is unlock your potential, and the image of the glasses, which looks amazing and will do amazing on a Facebook ad. So I hope that you like this Facebook ad copy generator GPT. And I'll see you in the next lecture in which we're going to generate yet more GPTs. This time around, we're going to create a GPT that can write SEO optimized blog posts and articles. Stay tuned for it, and I will see you in the next lecture. In this lecture. Now in this lecture, we're going to create an SEO copywriting expert specialized in writing blog posts and articles of your choosing. So let's get right into it. It's also clear or necessary for me to clarify that you must check for plagiarism using a tool that checks for plagiarism. And we must make that clear for people also when they use our tool. And of course, I'll teach you how you can check for plagiarism, though it's a paid option. We'll use Grammarly Premium. But checking for plagiarism is important because when you're writing a blog post, you don't want to have high plagiarism percentage because that's the kind of content that Google doesn't like. And it will usually take your website down if you have content that has high levels of plagiarism. Because what that tells Google, or at least the Google algorithm, is that your content has been stolen from some other websites. And that is against their terms of service. So let's get right into it. So here, similarly, we're going to stay in the same chat that we have used to create both our first 2 GPTs. Now this chat is the incubator. It's going to help us create all the GPTs later. And similarly, this one. So now let's go and describe what it is that we want to achieve. So here's my prompt. I want you to write syntax prompts that would enable people to generate SEO optimized blog posts or articles, depending on the choice of the person. And they must have a huge human touch to them. Now, the reason why I said they must give people the choice between blog post or article is because sometimes people might want to generate a blog post. So they should be given the choice. They should be asked before it starts generating whether it is that they want that to be a blog or an article. And there's a vast difference between blog and article because blog is usually around 500 words max. And articles are usually around 1,000 to 3,000, even more in some cases up to 5,000 to 10,000 words. And so basically that is the difference. And so it must be made clear. And also I would like to add one last detail here. And I'm saying make it clear at the end that people should check for plagiarism. So we need to disclose that because we don't want to take any responsibility whatsoever. We want to make sure we stay clever and sharp and protect ourselves because there's nobody protecting us if we don't. So here's prompt number 1. Now, in the meantime, I'd like to copy that particular prompt. I would like it to go and open up a new ChatGPT chat. And then click on Explore GPTs as usual. And then click on the little green button at the right-hand side at the top, and there you go. And right now, I'd like to paste in my first prompt, which basically is welcome to the SEO content creator. First, let's decide on the type of content you need. What would you like to create? Blog post, article, type A for blog post, B for article. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. So here, it is updating the GPT mainly because it wants to give us a name. So SEO content wizard, I think is good. It sounds good. So here I'm going to say it sounds good. And right now it's going to suggest a logo. So here, as you can see, it is basically going to suggest a logo for us. In the meantime, I'd like you to look on the right-hand side here on the preview. You can see that in the questions, there is choose A for blog post or B for an article. That's a great thing that it's basically using that as a conversation starter. When it comes to the logo, I think it's pretty good. It's a quill, plus a magnifying glass and paper and some words in the background, also colors. They're really good. So I'm going to say good, add a comma, go back to the ChatGPT other window. Now, it really has consumed a lot of prompts, but let's hope that these should be enough. I'm going to copy prompt number 2, and I'm going to paste it in. And I'm going to hit enter. Now, you might want to be interested to copy all the prompts all together at once, but that would be counterintuitive because it's just giving way too much information to ChatGPT at one point. So go easy on it. Now I'm going to copy prompt number 3, paste it in the GPT builder and hit enter. Go back and copy prompt number 4, right? And then go back, paste it in. As soon as it finishes, hit enter. Go back for prompt number 5. Go back to the GPT builder, paste that in. There you go. Hit enter. Go back for prompt number 6. Copy. Go back in here, paste it in. And so as you can see, we're going slowly but surely. Go back for prompt number 7, actually. And then there's prompt number final prompt. This is the reminder of where they have to remind people that they need to check for plagiarism, which is important because we want people to know that, yes, this generates content, but still it's AI content. We just want them to know that they have the responsibility to go and make sure there is no plagiarism because we don't want them to have any problems. So here, there you go. Actually, this is good. So I'm going to paste in the final reminder prompt. And that's it. There you go. And so right now we have our GPT. We can go ahead and make sure that we basically click right here at the green button. And then we will publish this as writing and then click confirm. We could publish it in the productivity field or productivity niche as well. But I will not go there. Just click confirm. And right now it is live, ready to be tested. And so let's go and I'll see you in the next lecture in which we're going to test this SEO content wizard GPT. Stay tuned for it. And without further ado, I wish you the best. This lecture in which we're going to proceed on to test our SEO content wizard GPT that specializes in crafting SEO optimized blog posts. So first of all, you have to choose whether it is that you want it to be a blog post or an article. I just want it to be a blog post. So I'm going to select A, hit enter. That's my choice. So now it says, seems like your message might have been cut off. How can I assist you? Okay, so let me just go back actually here. I'm going to go back to my GPTs here. And if I scroll down, should be here. Let me click on it again to start a new conversation. I'm going to click on this first button. And then here is going to give me, could you clarify? Okay, so I'm going to actually go with option A. I'm going to click option A. I'm going to hit enter. Great choice. A blog post often allows more personal tone, so on and so forth. What's the main topic? Who's your target audience? Do you have specific keywords or phrases you like to rank for? And what is your primary goal? of your post. So let's start out by writing the main topic. So let's say you want to create an article regarding ChatGPT versus Gemini AI. So, or OpenAI versus Gemini AI. So I'm going to say the main topic is OpenAI versus Gemini AI, right? The target audience is AI enthusiasts. Also, do you have any specific keywords? I'm going to say ChatGPT and Gemini AI are the keywords. And what is the primary goal of the blog post? Actually, I'm going to go for inform is the goal, and I'm going to hit enter. So now, straightforward. Focusing on a topic, keyword integration, primary keywords, ensure OpenAI, LSI. So normally you should be writing the blog post for me now, not giving me these particular ideas. So I'm going to wait for it until it finishes, and I'm going to ask it to write the blog post. So it's just giving us some clues, and these are from an SEO perspective. As I am looking at them right now, they make a lot of sense because this is SEO 101. But generally speaking, we programmed this GPT to be creating blog posts. So I'm going to say generate the blog post and hit enter. So now, right, creating a full blog post with Spot. So here, basically, it's creating it for us. OpenAI versus Gemini AI, an in-depth comparison for AI enthusiasts, introduction in the rapidly evolving landscape of artificial intelligence. Two titans stand out for their innovative contributions and cutting-edge technologies, and so on and so forth. So it basically has written the blog post for us. We could have added, when we were programming the GPT, that it must add an FAQ. But that is something you can do. You can just click on your GPT, edit. That will cost you some extra prompts, but you can put that in as a feature as well in the process. I'd like you to go to Google. And actually before, I'd like you to go to Grammarly.com. Now this is if you have a membership in Grammarly, of course. And you can only check for plagiarism if you're paying for one of the tools that we're going to mention. I'm going to start out by Grammarly because I have a membership. I pay $150 a year for Grammarly membership. So if I click here on this new button option, it's going to take me right here. And now I'd like to show you how you can check for plagiarism using Grammarly. But first, I would need to copy the entire title and copy here. Go back into Grammarly, paste it in. Not only can you check for plagiarism, but you can also set some goals here. So if you're talking to a domain of maybe academic or business general, and the intent, you could say maybe you would like to tell a story or inform as well. You can choose two intents. The audience, let's say the general, formality, let's stay neutral, and let's click done. And you can see the overall score is 99, but you can actually definitely make it 100 by following these suggestions here. So I can accept one of these suggestions, and I'm moving to 100. By the way, you have to also understand that there are many more features in Grammarly, such as double-clicking on a specific word and changing it. You can change it. For example, you can double-click on this one and change it to something else. Instead of community, maybe you'd like some other word. That's a great feature of Grammarly. Just clicking on a feature, on a word, it basically shows you more synonyms. And that is something you can do to paraphrase. And finally, you check for plagiarism by right-clicking at the bottom right-hand side corner on Plagiarism Checker. That will check the plagiarism for you. It will tell you exactly how much is the percentage of plagiarism in this particular blog post. 3%. Doesn't sound like much. So I would not do anything else. I would just keep it because 3% is good. Google says that you have to be less than 20%. Generally, my rule is 10%. So don't go over 10%. And generally, if you'd like to change this to 0%, quite frankly, it's possible. You can just unselect the plagiarism. And here you can double click, for example, on rapidly or evolving, change it to growing, landscape, you change it to terrain, and artificial intelligence, you can maybe change it to AI. Instead of artificial intelligence, if I generate or click check for plagiarism, now it is saying that my text is 100% original. So we have removed that excess 3%. Now that we check content for plagiarism, let me copy this. Let me show you some other tools that can check for plagiarism as well. So there's one other tool, which is called Copyscape. Copyscape is a tool that helps check for plagiarism, but you have to pay for it. So there's a payment. You have to pay $10 for every 100% tests, which is actually a lot more than Grammarly if you think about it. Because in Grammarly, the plagiarism feature is integrated inside, so you don't have to pay for it. Plus, you get a lot more features, such as helping you improve the overall score, setting goals, downloading a report, generative AI tool here to help you write if you would like to write. So there's a lot of features. And so here, as you can see, we can rephrase this for correctness, and now it's going to basically take us to. Now this is human, whatever. Now I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to show you one more tool that can enable you to check for plagiarism. It's called Quillbot.com. So Quillbot is a tool that can enable you to check for plagiarism, though you have to upgrade to premium. They're less expensive than Grammarly, so Grammarly is $150. These guys are about 3 times less per year. But I think they have many more features that we can see that you can use for free. And if you hover over to the right-hand side, you can see all of their features that they enable. I really like their paraphraser because it can enable you to paraphrase text. So for example, I can take this text, this first paragraph, I could come around here. When you're using the free membership, as long as your text is no more than 75 characters, I think, 75 words, you can rephrase it or paraphrase it. So if I click on paraphrase, it's going to give me an entirely new text. So taking that text and it changes it. It rephrases it. And plus you can rephrase it another time. So you can see that right now it's been rephrased another time. So now that we've introduced you to plagiarism, you have to also be introduced to the AI content detectors. I'd like you to go to Google and check for or look for AI content detectors. There's many. I personally use CopyLeaks because it ranks at the top. And so anything that ranks at the top according to Google must be it. I'd like to go back to Grammarly here and copy my content. Now I'd like to run a test to see how much is the percentage of AI content in this text. So here, this is the tool. It's actually pretty simple. This is the front end. If you paste in your content, you can easily click on this little check button. And there's another premium version for this tool. So here it says HTTP failure. Now let me just click again. Let me try to refresh. And then refresh the page and then paste in the content one more time and run the test. Okay, so now I think that this should work. So if I click check, the model is, you can use a basic or enhanced. The basic I think is for free. And it checks content for all of these operators. And of course, it will ask you if you're a robot or a human. That's just a verification through Cloudflare. And let's get right into it. So here, let me just verify that I'm a real person. It's running the test in the background and clearly has detected that this is AI content. Now let's try another way. So let's take away this content that we have pasted here by removing it. Let's go take the paraphrased content from Quillbot. Now let's try to run a test here across CopyLeaks and see how that is going to work. So let's see how the paraphrased content does. Also, the paraphrased content is AI percentage. Now, to be honest with you, this tool will tell you, even if you've written content with your hands, it's going to tell you it is AI generated. To be honest with you, there is nothing wrong with AI content as long as the plagiarism levels are low. But you can choose a different type of content detector, such as this one right here, GPT-0. Let me just go back, copy the content for once, and go back to GPT-0 here. If I paste this in, and if I check the origin, it's supposedly going to tell me. So here also this one says this is likely to be AI. So I think that they basically caught it. But generally speaking, you can rephrase your content. So you can take this content, try rephrasing it, writing it in a different way. But generally speaking, the great news is that ChatGPT has already done the hard work for you. It has already written the most of it. And that's it. Now, we're going to go ahead and proceed on to create more tools or more GPTs. The next GPT that we're going to create is a GPT that can create 2D games with HTML and CSS and JavaScript. Stay tuned for it, and I'll see you in the next lecture. In this lecture, in which I'm going to show you how you can build a 2D game builder. This 2D game builder can help you build games as simple as Snake. I'm pretty sure you've all played Snake at somewhere in your life. It's a pretty good game, except for you have to make sure you stay in the middle of the scene, because if you hit the wall chasing the food, then the snake basically disappears and dies. And there's other games as well, such as tic-tac-toe. There's a lot of games that we can create, Tetris, and so on and so forth. Let's say that you would like to create a GPT that helps people to build the game of Tetris, specifically a 2D Tetris game. Let's go and see how that works using the power of code and ChatGPT 4. All right, so this is the prompt. I want to build a GPT that write code for the game of Tetris in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And the game should work just like the normal game. And it should be free from any mistakes. Make it great and make it good looking with colors as well. So here, what we're basically saying is for it to build a GPT or to give us prompts for a GPT that will write the code for a game of Tetris. We also made it clear that we want it to build a pretty good looking GPT or a pretty good looking code, because we don't want it to build just any code. The game of Tetris involves some colors. Shapes fall from the sky in all kinds of colors and shapes. And so it has to also take that into consideration. And also it should be free from any errors in code, because the last thing we want to do is to debug the code. So now if I hit enter, it must go ahead and write the prompts for us, because we're still in the same chat in which we've basically asked it the question. So here, it's basically giving us the response. Hopefully, it's going to respond. Project structure overview, HTML. Okay, so I have to pause this, okay? And I have to go back to the prompt, click edit. And I'm going to say write the prompts, make them syntax compliant to program the GPT, and keep it short. And now I can save and submit this new prompt, because I didn't want it to give me its opinion. I wanted it to basically help me with prompts to program the GPT directly. So here, now it has caught on to it. I would like you to go to another window. Click on Explore GPTs as usual. And I would like you to click on this button, this green button in the GPT store, to create our GPT, which would be super fun. And also, we're going to test this GPT, just so you know. So I'm going to copy prompt number 1, which is the introduction and confirmation. I'm going to basically go back into the GPT, paste that in. So we'd like to create a Tetris code generator, and so on and so forth. So here is basically updating the GPT. So it's going to suggest some names. Tetris code wizard. Okay, I'm going to say okay. And I like the name, so it's going to right now pass the name onto the previewer. You'll be able to see it after it answers this question. So it's going to generate a logo that goes along with the GPT. So here's the logo. I think it's good. I'm going to say okay. And I'm going to add the comma. Go back into the previous chat. Copy the prompt number 2, which is for design and preferences. Paste it in. And now we have reached our limit when it comes to the usage of the GPT-4, because it's basically limited at 40. So we'll have to basically complete this process after I get my prompts back. So I'll see you in the next lecture, in which we're going to complete building this amazing Tetris code GPT. Stay tuned for it, and I will see you in the next lecture. Welcome in this lecture, in which we're going to go ahead and create the Tetris game builder. We're going to complete the process, that is. So I'm going to copy prompt number 2 and basically paste it in the builder. And it's ultimately going to go ahead and proceed. I'm going to go back for prompt number 3 and then go back here into the GPT builder. And right after it generates the message, you should go ahead and copy paste and enter the prompt. So right now I can go ahead and click on send a message and it will proceed. So here it's updating the GPT. Let me go back for prompt number 4. And then there is prompt number 5 and so on and so forth. So I'm going to paste in prompt number 4 here and hit enter. And now I can move on to prompt number 5. And there is one final note prompt, which I think is to sum up. So let me paste this prompt in. And then I'm going to test this tool as well and see if it really does the job as it was programmed. So I'm going to copy the final note and I'm going to go back to the GPT game builder and basically here, paste it in. And this is supposed to be the final prompt before we can go and play with this a little bit and basically create our Tetris game. Now, before we do, I would like you to go to this website called codepen.io. Codepen.io. Create a pen. And generally, this website allows you to add HTML code. You're also allowed to add CSS code and JavaScript code. And that can be interpreted here. And this area, you can make it bigger or smaller, depending on what you'd like to do. In my case, now I can go back and I can click on this green button to publish. This is more of a programming GPT, so it's good. The category that they've chosen by default was good. Now we can start the process. So here, show me the HTML structure for Tetris. So I know how the tool works. I'm going to actually ask it to write HTML, CSS, JavaScript code for the game of Tetris and ensure it works. And actually, I'm going to ask it to write the codes separately. I'm going to say, and write each piece of code separately. And I'm going to explain, I'm going to say, so separate HTML from CSS from JavaScript and hit enter. So right now, even if you're a no code, even if you don't know anything about coding, I have basic HTML and CSS and JavaScript that I have. So I'm not an expert in HTML or CSS or JavaScript or any coding language for that matter. But I know for sure that ChatGPT is an expert at that. So it has generated the HTML code. You can only copy it, head to CodePen, paste it in the area of HTML. It's not done yet because the code is not done. Copy the CSS bit part, go back to CodePen, paste that in, and now we go for the final part, which is this JavaScript code, which seems to be here the biggest code. And so we're going to wait until it generates the code for us so that we can copy this JavaScript code and paste it in there. So it has finished generating it now. I can safely copy the JavaScript code, head back right in here, paste it in, and now we have a game of Tetris. So as you can see, it is really a game of Tetris. It is functional. If I click normally, this should be moving down. So you can see that there is something here going on. Now it's not fully functional. So this should be falling down. It's not. Maybe there's something I should do that triggers the process. Maybe actually the game works, but here we just need to trigger the process somehow. I'm trying to click on some buttons, or actually let me go back and see if it made a note. So here the JavaScript code initializes a simple Tetris game on board, generates Tetris pieces. In this example, only the L shape is defined for simplicity and allows the pieces to be moved left or right. For further development, is needed to add rotation, piece dropping, line clean. Okay, so here I'm going to take this line right here, and I'm going to say, do the further development, rewrite the full code separately. And I'm going to say, I need the game to work. So the game is not working as I wanted it to be. So I'm just going to go back in here. delete the HTML, delete the CSS, delete the JavaScript, which is quite a big code. And if we go back here, it is basically creating the new code for us. The HTML remains the same because, quite frankly, I think the JavaScript is what is the most important here. Then there's the CSS, which is to beautify the game, so it adds colors. So this is just the board. Normally this is how it would look like on the phone, on a 9 by 16 inches phone. And right now it is generating the JavaScript code. So here, after I've added my command, I ask it to create an entire game. So it's going to take quite a while to generate this. But as you can see, it is really impressive that these tools can be so good at this. They can create code for you. All you need to do is to give them text. And you can create games that in the past were only possible for people that had high skills, high coding skills. Now, the ground has been leveled, or the playground is basically, we all can play now. We all can code, even if we don't understand anything about code. We can have a concept in our mind, and that's the only thing we need. We just need to have an idea about what we would like the code to achieve, and ChatGPT can go ahead and build it for us. As you can see, right now it is really going in hard and generating this piece of code. So it has stopped generating because the code is so large. I'm going to click on this continue generating button, and it's going to basically continue generating the rest of the code. That can happen sometimes because sometimes the code may be very complex. It may stop even more than once. It may stop 2 times. So anytime it stops, you can just go ahead and click on the continue button and it will just immediately pick up from where it left off. You can only pray that the internet is still there because you don't want to do the process again. But generally speaking, it is going right now and creating a code which is bigger than the code that it created earlier, which didn't work. It only had an L Tetris at the top, and it was static, so it didn't move. Now I believe that this is going to work. So let's wait. Okay, so now the JavaScript code has been created. So here, let's read this. This is important. This JavaScript code introduces several new functions to handle rotation, movement, move left, move right, move down, freezing pieces when they reach the bottom or land on other pieces, freeze. Okay, so those are just explaining the game, and that's what the game of Tetris is. So we all know, we most likely all have played the game of Tetris. So I'm going to copy JavaScript code, go back into codepen.io, paste the JavaScript code, and now this should be on. The game should be on. We should be able to play. So let's wait and see if there is a piece coming down. Normally there should be a piece coming down. I don't know what to do to trigger the game, but generally speaking, this should be working. So here, ending the game, functions have been added. This code provides basic, it can be expanded with more features. Okay, so it can be expanded with more features, but generally speaking, I should be able to start this by clicking on some kind of a button here. But generally speaking, it's not showing anything. So this is it for this particular lecture about how to build a tool that can help with code, with coding 2D games. Now, you can actually build more of a tool that I have personally built, which is this one, called a 2D game builder, which can create games of any sort, depending on what type of game you want to create. That's more of a game builder for different games. And you can go specific, as we did by creating a Tetris game builder. You can also develop tools that code games in Python, that code certain applications in Python. There is a lot of things that you can do. It's up to you, and the sky is your limit. The imagination is basically up to you. So now that we have created this 4th GPT, we're going to proceed on to create a podcast writer, a podcast script writer GPT that can help people write podcast scripts. That is what's next. Stay tuned and I'll see you in the next lecture. And welcome in this lecture. Now in this lecture, we're going to generate a podcast scriptsmith or a podcast script writer. Now, podcasts are basically not just trending, but they're the new type of business that everyone is doing, right? So, and part of what goes into a podcast is writing the script. And so there are script writers that are dedicated to write a script, provide the podcast owner with that script so that they can run that show or that session. And so, but it's needed and it's a skill, and ChatGPT can automate this process. It can be your podcast script writer. We just have to program it and create a GPT that can do that. And so this is what we're going to do in this lecture right here. So the first thing I'm going to start by saying is initially in the same chat where we built most of our prompts that program most of our GPTs, we're going to ask it to write syntax prompts that would enable us to create the podcast scriptsmith. So let's get right into it. So basically I've entered the prompt, and it's a very simple prompt. So the prompt is write 3 syntax prompts that I can use to program a podcast script writer or GPT that can generate podcast script effortlessly. So here, it basically is going to take that in, and it's going to start writing the prompts. In the meantime, I would like you to go to another ChatGPT tab as always, and make sure you click on this Explorer button or Explorer GPTs. Once at the GPT store, click on this green button to create your first GPT. That will take us here, and we can start it from there. So the first prompt is basically this one. Copy it blindly, paste it into the GPT builder. There we go. This should get it started. So now it should talk back at us and propose basically a name for our custom GPT, which we're going to see if that fits us and if we like it. So the name that it is suggesting is podcast script writer, or actually it's suggesting script craft. I think it's a good name. So I'm going to say, I like it. Now it's going to suggest a logo. And so I'm going to actually wait and see what kind of profile picture it generates. In the meantime, while waiting, copy prompt number 2 and then head back right here. So it is generating the profile picture, and what a profile picture that is, actually looking pretty fabulous. I'm going to say yes, I like it. And I'm going to inject the prompt, the second prompt. So 2 prompts in one. That's how I like to do it, especially that I just have to say yes to the first one, so I don't want to waste a lot of prompts. And I'm going to go back for prompt number 3, which is this one, and that's it. That's how we program our GPTs in the most optimal way. This can help you build at least 10 GPTs in every 3 hours. Because you're using 3 prompts per GPT in this application, so if you use 3 prompts for every GPT you create, that is very optimal. So now I'm going to paste this in, the last prompt, hit enter, and we can publish our GPT. And we can go ahead, most importantly, ask it to generate some scripts for podcast ideas. I have an idea. I have an idea about a podcast in between, for example, Joe Rogan and Neil deGrasse Tyson. Let's say they're talking about magnetism or they're talking about the planets and so on and so forth, and we want to write a script for that. We're going to see that later. Now I can click on this green button and confirm. Now this is going to be published to everyone. So everyone is going to have this. They can use it. I can click confirm, and here we are. So here I'm going to say, write a script for a podcast between Joe Rogan and Neil Tyson deGrasse. Actually, I think it's attached. So let's enter and see. So the podcast title, Exploring the Cosmos with Joe Rogan and Neil deGrasse Tyson. This is what Joe Rogan is going to say at the beginning. Welcome back to another episode of Joe Rogan Experience, where we dive into the minds of some of the most fascinating people on the planet. Today, we're literally going out of this world with our guest. He's an astrophysicist, author, and one of the most well-known science communicators out there, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Neil, welcome to the show. And Neil deGrasse is going to say, thanks, Joe. It's great to be here, always ready to talk about the universe and everything in it. Joe Rogan says, man, I've got so many questions, but first, how's life treating you these days? Neil deGrasse says, busy as always, Joe. The universe doesn't take breaks, so neither do I. But it's good kind of busy exploring mysteries of the cosmos, sharing that knowledge. It's exhilarating, and so on and so forth. So as you can see, this is quite something. This is quite the stuff. It really is capable of generating podcast scripts. You can change the topic. You can talk about other specific topic. You can even use it to start your own podcast or use it as a freelancer, a freelance podcast script writer. You can start writing podcast script for businesses, for YouTube channels on Fiverr, for example. That's a good business. Freelancer, Upwork, and so on and so forth. But there's many, many things that you can accomplish with what you have learned right now. We just want to make it clear for you that you're not only building these GPTs for people to use, but you can also use these GPTs as well to help you do and help you freelance. Stay tuned, and we will see you in the next lecture. Into the series of creating GPTs. In this lecture, I have something very interesting for you. Now I'm inside of SEMrush, which is the keyword research tool, an SEO tool all-encompassing. It's quite expensive, but it really tells a lot. It gives you things such as how much traffic a specific keyword gets, also the keyword difficulty, what it takes to rank for that specific keyword, and so on and so forth. So AI Detector. Actually, this is a huge market ever since AI tools have came out. And so this keyword gets 1.2 million people searching for it every single month. Just in the United States, 450,000 people search for this. And all of them have one purpose, which is to detect whether the content was generated via AI. Okay? And so these tools, we've seen some of them earlier on, such as CopyLeaks, CrossPlag, Writer.com, so on and so forth. And you can see them ranked over here from top to bottom, CopyLeaks being ranked at the top. What if I told you that we can create a GPT that can detect if content was generated via AI? So in this lecture, we're not going to talk about API and how you can link API, for example, from this website, CopyLeaks, into the GPT builder, because that's possible. You can take the API of a website such as CopyLeaks, build your AI content detector inside of ChatGPT, and have it connected to CopyLeaks so that it can use their machine. But I would like to create our own connected to no API. So here, let's get right into it. Now that you know what's in store, I would like you to go back to that special chat in which we have created most of our GPT's prompts. And in the same fashion, I would like to write a prompt. So here's the prompt. I want to build a GPT that detects if content is AI generated or not, and it should provide 3 answers. First one is if it's AI generated, AI and human generated, because sometimes the content might be AI and human generated in varying percentages. Sometimes it's more human generated than AI, and so on and so forth. And then the third alternative, which is that this is human generated content. And I would like ChatGPT here in this chat to generate 3 syntax compliant prompts to create such a GPT. And I want to name it AI Detector. The reason why is, I'm going to go back to SEMrush, because this is what the keyword that gets most of the traffic, AI Detector. And so I'd like to name my GPT as that. So here, if I hit send a message, in the meantime, I would like you to go and open up a new ChatGPT chat. Click on Explore in another window, right? Not a separate chat, but another window. And then click on this green button to create the GPT, and that will get us started. In the meantime, we should just go back and retrieve our prompts, starting by prompt number 1. And I'm going to hit prompt number 1, paste it in there. I'm going to go back for prompt number 2, which is this one. And I'm going to basically paste it in here. But I think I'm going to have to, first of all, name my GPT and make sure it has a logo. So how about the name AI Detector? Actually, I already said that. So yeah, I'm going to say yes and hit enter. And so right now it's going to suggest a logo. And quite frankly, I think it's going to suggest a logo with a magnifying glass, because that's generally what this is representative of. So it's generating the profile picture. It's generating it using DALL-E. Like I said, remember that you can go to configure and you can go to the advanced option. Basically, you can link to some other websites. Here, I think this one is good. So I'm going to say yes and paste in the second prompt, hit enter. In the meantime, I'd like to show you something. So if you go to this website, it's called CopyLeaks. You have access to API. This website has been known to really give legit results and really detects if the content is plagiarized, is AI detected. They also have plagiarism detectors. If you scroll down to the very bottom of the page, you have this option, AI Content Detector API. You can click on it, and you could basically book a demo, or just click Start Now if you want to have API access. And basically what that does is people type in an answer or a question in your GPT, and the answer that they get, whether that content is AI generated or not, it's going, basically the content that they put is going to be transferred to CopyLeaks' API. And basically because you've connected the API of CopyLeaks to your GPT through this configure option right here, the answer that you're going to get is going to be an answer coming from CopyLeaks. So it's going to be based on their model, right? So, and this is how you do it, by creating an action here. And you have to add a schema in which you basically need to place the API link to CopyLeaks and whatnot. And so that is in case you want to go there. I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm just going to go back, and I'm not going to connect to any APIs. So I'm going to copy prompt number 3, paste that in, hit enter, and that should do the work. And so right now, we're ready to go. Now we're going to publish this GPT, and I'm going to show you in the next lecture how you can utilize it. Now normally you should give 3 answers: AI generated, AI, and human generated, or human generated. And so finally, it is right now taking in the final prompt, and it is ready to be published. So I'd like you to click on this green button here, confirm. And it's okay if it's in the category of research and analysis. I think that's a good category. I'm just going to publish it there. And we're going to take some content that we have already written using ChatGPT in the past. So for example, here we have some content. I can take this blog. And in the next lecture, we're going to test whether or not it's going to recognize if this content is AI generated. Stay tuned, and I will see you in the next lecture. In this lecture, in which we're going to test our AI detector and see how great it works. So let's get right into it. So here, I'm going to start the conversation by using this conversation starter, which basically says determine if this article is human written or AI written. So here, it basically is going to start talking to us, and it says, to assist you effectively, I'll need the article text you are referring to. Could you please provide the content you'd like me to analyze? And yes, we sure can provide it with the content. So I'm going to basically just Control-C, Control-V, content that was written previously by ChatGPT in one of the chats. And here it is saying, based on the text provided, here are my observations that led me to assess whether the article is likely AI generated, AI and human generated, or human generated. So here, if we scroll down, it says, based on these observations, the article could be a product of human authorship, potentially augmented with AI assistance. The structured approach, depth of content, and engagement with the audience suggests human involvement, possibly leveraging AI for tasks such as data gathering and so on and so forth. So here, however, without more specific indicators and the ability to analyze the text against known AI with patterns and limitations. Right, so actually that's a politically correct answer. But the answer it gave us is quite good, because this content was content that we used AI to create, but it has a touch of human. Because when I asked ChatGPT to write this blog post that I'm testing, I actually made sure for it to make it more human-like. So inside of my prompt, I wrote, generate the content, but make it more human-like. And so it came across as a little bit human-like, right? And so it is accurate. It is accurate. And so now that we have built this, well, I'm going to show you how you can build another tool. This one is not an AI detector. It's a plagiarism detector. Now, if you go, for example, and if I go here to SEMrush, if I search for the keyword plagiarism, it's a huge topic. There's a lot of search for it. Notice how many people are actually searching for plagiarism every single month. So 451,000 people searching for plagiarism. Amongst them, 823,000 people search for plagiarism checkers, and also 135,000 search for plagiarism checker free, because it is such an expensive tool. Now, we're going to build a tool that can detect whether the content is plagiarized. And we're going to try to create a percentage, an answer in which basically it gives a percentage of the plagiarized content. And also, it should point out to which parts of the text were actually plagiarized. I'll see you in the next lecture in which we're going to go ahead and build this. Stay tuned and I will see you then. In this lecture in which we're going to build a plagiarism checker. So let me go ahead and start the process in the same chat in which we basically built most of our tools, most of our GPTs. So here, I'm actually going to go ahead and start the process by saying I want to build a plagiarism checker. So here is the prompt. I want to build a plagiarism checker. So write 3 syntax compliant prompts that I can use to create this GPT that checks for plagiarism and gives an answer as follows. The percentage of plagiarism is X percentage. The X depends on the test. So it could be 3%, 10%, or whatever the test concludes. And I want this to be legit. And I want it to have an ability to rewrite the content with less plagiarism. So if I hit enter right now, it should go ahead and proceed. In the meantime, I would like you to go and open up and explore another GPT tab. Click on Explore GPTs as usual to start the GPT store. And click on this green button at the top to create your own GPT. Now, going back, let's take the first prompt, which is this one. So let me go ahead and paste it in. I can hit enter. As far as the keyword is concerned, I think plagiarism checker is a good name. So I'm going to choose plagiarism checker. So here, basically, it says I've said the basics for plagiarism checker. I would call it plagiarism detective. I'm actually going to say call it plagiarism checker. There you go. And now it's going to basically suggest a logo for us. In the meantime, I'm going to go back and copy prompt number 3 and basically, or actually number 2, and come back to see the profile picture. The profile picture is basically the logo of your GPT. So that's what people are going to be able to see. And I like the logo. So I'm going to say, yes, the logo is good, comma, space, add the second prompt. That way, we basically did 2 things in one go. And I'm going to head back for prompt number 3 this time. And go back to the GPT builder, paste it in, and basically now I can send it. And go back for the final prompt, which I believe is this one. It's for follow-up and rewriting. So this just gives the person and the user a option to rewrite their content using ChatGPT. So here, I can see that it's basically generating a response for us. I can send the final prompt, and we can go ahead and cheer up and now enjoy our plagiarism detector. So the conversation starters are good, starting by saying, check this paragraph for plagiarism. Is this text original? Can you analyze this document for similarities? It's all good. Now I'm going to click on the green button to publish, confirm. Now we have ourselves our GPT that we can test. So let's go ahead and test it in the next lecture and see if it's accurate at detecting whether content is plagiarized or not. Stay tuned and I will see you in the next lecture. Welcome in this lecture in which we're going to test our plagiarism checker and see if it really works. So here, I'm going to pick one of the conversation starters, which is check this paragraph for plagiarism. If I click, it's going to start a conversation and it's going to require from me to basically give it a paragraph that it can check for plagiarism. So let's give it a paragraph. But first, I got a website here, and this is just for testing, so I'm not stealing their content. I just want to see if this is as good as we think it is. So I'm going to copy the first paragraph from this website because this is not our content. This is the perfect use case to see if our GPT actually works. If it works, it should be able to figure out that this content is actually plagiarized. Now here, it looks like there is a bug, so I'm going to have to refresh the page of the GPT and basically redo the process. So it's not a very difficult process to do. So I'm going to say check the content for plagiarism here. Let's start the conversation all over. All right, so it says please provide the paragraph you're referring to. So now I'm going to provide it with this particular paragraph, and let's see. To analyze the originality, I have to compare definition, explanation, SCM, association, Okay. So here, I think I'm going to have to stop it and go back to the top. And I'm going to have to edit this prompt. I'm going to say, check this content. Check this content for plagiarism. And just basically hit a space and add a mark, quotation mark, and hit enter. All right, so now it's basically checking. So let me just wait a second. So here is basically estimating that this is 40 to 60% plagiarized, which is a good thing because other tools as well will not say that this is 100% plagiarized, except for if they're very complex like Grammarly, which I'm going to right now to test, because Grammarly actually will really tell you that this is 100% plagiarized, and it will tell you the source. It will give you the source, the link from where it found that this is plagiarized. So they really, really built a very powerful tool there. So I'm going to paste the content into Grammarly just out of curiosity. I'm just going to click done. I'm not really looking to set any goals because this is just content that we've taken from another website. I just want to run the test for plagiarism here to see if it really is going to find out that the source is search engine led. Now, I trust Grammarly. I think it really does well. Now, the source of this is writearena.com. So 100% plagiarized. Okay, so it seems that it has basically, this article here has probably been written by that website, and maybe this is a guest post they have placed here on this platform. But generally speaking, our tool is not far behind. Our tool detects that the content is plagiarized. It also gives recommendations. And it says if you'd like me to, I can assist in rewriting the content to enhance its originality. So I'm going to say, yes, rewrite it. And in the meantime, I'm going to take that content that it has rewritten. I'm going to take it to a test on Grammarly to see if it really took the content and changed it and made it less plagiarized. I think that's also a pretty good thing. So I'm going to click new. And it gave us two options. So I'm going to just click on the second option. And it is writing it right now. So let me go ahead and copy it. So I'm just going to copy from the top and copy the content, go back to Grammarly, and let's run a quick test here. So let's paste the content in, click done. And right here at the very bottom right-hand side, I'm going to click on plagiarism checker. And sure enough, it should be able to detect. So here, yeah, this is only 13%. So from the 100% plagiarism now to 13%, it surely did a good job at transforming this into less plagiarized content. So our tool is really magnificent. I like it. I hope you do too. And I will see you in the next lecture. Now, the next lecture, we're going to build another tool, which is a AI paraphrasing tool. This will be our other tool that we're going to create. If we go, for example, to SEMrush and we search for paraphrasing, you can find that there's a lot of search for paraphrasers. And we're going to build a paraphraser that people can use for free. And they are really on demand, especially now with AI. Everybody seems to be wanting to paraphrase their content. And also they get a lot of traffic, so we can get a clear picture. 1.7 million people visit this every month, especially in the Philippines. Surprisingly, there's a lot of people in the Philippines trying to paraphrase. Now, this can tell you things. Also, India, there's 246,000. Also here, so mostly in non-developed countries. Now, the reason why Philippines would be the country that has a lot of traffic and they're trying to paraphrase content is because they have a lot of freelancers. There's thousands and millions, actually, of freelancers in the Philippines, and they usually they do copywriting services. And so what they like is they like these paraphrasers because they give them access to just copy content from websites and paraphrase them, and they just ship it as their own products. So really these trends, these things can tell you things about what's going on in the world, what is everybody doing. Now, of course, it's not ethical to take a content from a website and paraphrase it, but they do it because it works and it bypasses plagiarism tests, and it bypasses even Google. Google fails to recognize whether that content has been copied or not. But these are tools that people are searching for, and we gotta build them, and we can build them. And sure enough, in the next lecture, I'll show you how you can build a paraphraser tool that takes content, paraphrases it. Stay tuned, and I will see you in the next lecture. Welcome in this lecture, in which we're going to go ahead and proceed on to basically build the paraphraser tool. So let's get right into it. So here, I'm actually going to write the prompt to ChatGPT to basically give me the syntax prompts that I can use to program the GPT in the GPT builder. So here's the prompt. I want to create a paraphraser tool that the user inputs content to, and it paraphrases it, but keeps the same flow and meaning, and even makes it better and reduces plagiarism. So write 3 syntax compliant prompts to program the GPT. So if I hit enter right now, it basically is going to take that in and is going to start writing. In the meantime, I would like you to go to ChatGPT, another tab. Make sure that you click on Explore GPTs, and then click on this little green button to create a new GPT, in which case it's going to start a conversation with the GPT builder, which is exactly what we want. And let's start off by copying the first prompt. So I'm going to copy the first prompt, paste it into the GPT builder. As usual, it's going to come back to us with a response, which is basically the name and suggesting a logo. I like content paraphraser, but paraphraser seems to be good, or paraphrasing tool seems to be better because it gets 368,000 visitors or people searching for it. So I'm going to say, name it paraphrasing tool. So it's going to take that in, and it's going to suggest the logo, which I'm going to say yes to, because I know it generates good quality logos. I'm going to go back to copy prompt number 2, which is about paraphrasing in progress. So let's just wait. And there is a logo. It looks pretty good. I like it. So I'm going to say yes, I like it. And I'm going to basically paste it in the second prompt and hit enter. And in the meantime, I'm going to go back for the final prompt, which is prompt number 3, which should help us to program the paraphrasing tool for the last time. And we can go ahead and proceed on to test it in the same video. So we can test our paraphrasing tool because we've built it in a record-breaking time. In about 3 minutes, we've built an entire GPT with 3 prompts. So here, it has updated the behavior. Everything is good. And basically, the conversation starters are here's your paraphrased content. Your text has been rephrased. Check out this paraphrased version. Review your paraphrased text. Okay, so I'm going to actually publish this as a writing tool. And what I would like to do, I would like to go back to Grammarly here. And I would like to copy some text. I'd like to copy this text and use it as an experiment to paraphrase it. So here we are inside of the paraphrasing tool. And I'm going to actually say paraphrase the following. And I'm just going to type in the content and hit enter. The paraphrasing tool is right now working. It says that it's received through text. And basically right now it has basically changed the text. So rewriting it. So it's saying grasping the intricacies of search engine marketing and optimization. The expansive field of visual marketing hinges fundamentally on the strategy of boosting visibility. Now I have basically here I want to see if this can go really well. So if we go back to Grammarly, let's paste it instead of the other content to check its plagiarism levels. So I can click here and see. Let's see the plagiarism. Looks like 100% original. And let me do one last thing here. Let's go to copyleaks.com/AI-detector, which is a content detector that can help see if this content was generated by AI. Now we know it was generated by AI, but let's see if the combination that we have done can bypass this tool. So if I click check right now, let's see what this tool has to say. So it is basically running the test. Hopefully we can bypass it. If we do, that would be great. Now it's verifying through Cloudflare if this text here. All right, let me just click verify that I'm human. And yes, this tool says it's AI generated. Well, quite frankly, I would say it about pretty much any text you give it to it because it's pretty rigid as a tool. But now that we have basically built this tool, we can go and build more. The next tool we're going to build is a calorie calculator, a tool that calculates how many calories are in a specific meal. So you just give it the meal. You say, for example, calculate the calories that I need to eat to maybe get 2,000 calories a day. And you can say to it, I like to eat pizzas and so on and so forth. And it will give you a diet. That's what we will do in the next lecture. Stay tuned and I'll see you then. There and welcome in this lecture. Now in this lecture, we're going to build a calorie calculator. So let's get right into it. So here, let me start the process by basically writing the prompt as usual inside of the chat in which we have created most of our syntax prompts that program most of our GPTs that we have created so far. So here, I'm saying I want to create a calorie calculator that calculates your ideal calorie intake based on information such as weight, age, gender, and also goals such as to lose weight or to gain weight. And it should answer with a calorie target. And I also it should give a weekly meal plan to go along with that. So I said, write 3 syntax compliant GPTs that could help build this. So I'm going to actually go ahead and hit enter. And right now is going to proceed on to generate the prompts for us. Starting from the first prompt, which is prompt number 1 about collecting user information. I would like you to go to another tab, open another ChatGPT tab and click on explore GPTs there. That will take you to the GPT store and we can click on this little green button and we can start the process. So I have basically copied my first prompt. I can paste it in. So after pasting the first prompt in, the GPT builder is going to respond to us. And basically by telling us what would you like to name the GPT, the logo, and so on and so forth until we finish. So here it is basically giving us an answer. So GPT calorie guide. I think calorie guide is a good name. So I'm going to say yes. And it sounds good. I like it. So right now it's going to generate a profile picture. In the meantime, I'd like to go back and copy prompt number 2. Head back right here. I'm just going to say yes to whatever logo it generates and paste in the prompt. And so the logo, I'm pretty sure is going to be good. So I actually like it. I think it's good. It's showing a balance and also showing those kinds of symbols, except for the fact that right now we have reached our cap of using the GPTs. So I'm going to actually wait until our GPTs our cap is reinitialized and I'll see you soon. So in the next lecture, we're going to complete the process of generating our calorie guide. Stay tuned and I'll see you there. Now in this lecture, we're going to go ahead and proceed on to create a customer service bot that answers tough questions from customers in case you want to refer to it. Because sometimes you might have a case where a customer might be too difficult and you might want to get some feedback from a robot, which is basically doesn't have a biased opinion. A robot doesn't have emotions. So basically, when you refer to it, it's going to always give you the logical response, which is what you're looking for. Because in a business, you're not looking for emotions, you're looking for logic. And logic wins always in business. And that's why we're going to create a bot that people can refer to as a customer service agent. So let's get right into it. So here I'm going to type in the prompt. So here's the prompt. I want to create a friendly customer service agent that can support salespeople to deal with tough customer questions. So generate 3 prompts that I can use to program my GPT to answer difficult customer questions and to basically ensure the customer is satisfied. So I'm going to hit enter right now and let's sit and wait a second until ChatGPT generates a response for us. So prompt number 1 is the following. I'd like you in the meantime to go ahead and to create a GPT by going to another GPT tab, right? So ChatGPT tab, click on Explore GPTs as always. That will open up the GPT store and you can proceed on to click on the green button right here, which will start the process for us. In the meantime, I'd like to go back to ChatGPT to copy my prompts. starting with this particular prompt right here. So I'm going to paste it in. That is prompt number 1. Prompt number 1, processed. Generally speaking, it should start trading with me and telling me what kind of name I'd like to name my GPT agent. Generally, I would want it to be something that is in regards to customer support. So it should have some keywords in over there. Support buddy actually is pretty good, except for I'm not sure if it's going to be recognized. So I'm actually going to name it customer support buddy is better. And I'm just going to let ChatGPT now generate a profile picture for that customer support buddy. So it's generating a profile picture. And we can basically take that profile picture and use it as a logo for our brand. So let's just wait a second. Actually, in the meantime, I could go back, copy the second prompt, head back into the ChatGPT chat. So this doesn't look so bad. I like it. So I'm going to actually say yes. And I'm going to paste in the second prompt. And we can go back for the third and final prompt right here. Now let's go back into the GPT builder. And you can see that my way of building GPTs is extremely fast. So we are using ChatGPT to create the prompts that we use later to program our GPTs without having to talk consistently with the GPT. So here I can paste in the third and final prompt right now, and we can go ahead and we can test this GPT out and see how it works. So here's the prompt being processed. Let me wait a second. And right now it's going to return some answers. All right, so now I can go ahead and click on this green button. And we can publish our GPT to everyone. In the category of, to be honest with you here, I'm going to go for lifestyle. Actually, I don't think lifestyle is really good. I think I'm going to go for the category of productivity. Click on confirm. And now we can start conversing with our GPT. Customer support GPT, that is. So we'll ask it a couple of questions. How can I reset my password? What is your return policy? Can you help me track my order? These are the basic questions. Let's say that some customer says, I don't want to buy, or I want to get my refund. So a customer is asking for a refund. What should I do? Okay, so here it's saying when the customer requests a refund, it's important to handle the situation with empathy and professionalism. Here is the structured approach. Acknowledge your request, gather information, review policy, inform the customer, take action, provide confirmation, follow up, invite further assistance. Well, that is one good way to answer this. Let's say that the customer now got the refund, but he's still going on and talking bad and reviewing our company bad. And so the customer got a refund. He's still giving us negative reviews. Let's see what the customer support agent actually says. So here it's saying that we should acknowledge the continuous dissatisfaction, seek detailed feedback, offer solution or compensation, personalize the response, highlight improvements, and basically what else? What else? Request a follow-up. Okay. Thank them. Okay. Reflect internally, and so on and so forth. So you can see that this is really a fully fledged, well-programmed, well-designed customer support agent that can serve in customer support. Now, this is the GPT that we have created right now. In the next lecture, we're going to create an entirely different. And this GPT, on the other hand, should be able to generate designs that people can use for t-shirts. Stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next lecture in which we're going to program our final GPT. Wish you the best, and I'll see you then. Welcome in this lecture in which we're going to proceed on to create a GPT that can enable people to generate t-shirt designs. So let's get right into it. It's very important that we remain copyright respectful. We have to make sure the tool that we create doesn't infringe on copyright, so we have to put that there as well. And mainly we just want to create t-shirt designs. So without text, without anything, just t-shirt designs. So here I'm going to ask it the following. Okay, so here's the prompt. I want to create a GPT that can generate t-shirt designs. It could be any type depending on the person. And these t-shirt designs must not include text. So in a series of six syntax compliant prompts, write them now to help me create this GPT. So I can click on enter right now, and it's going to proceed on to generate these. So in the meantime, I'd just like you to go to the GPT store, click on explore GPTs, actually explore GPTs. I need to click on it again. And it should take me to the GPT store, in which I can click on this green button to start a conversation with the GPT builder. So, by the way, if you search on SEMrush, so if we search for t-shirt design generator, I'm sure that there might be quite some interesting traffic for us. And if there is not, then there's at least something. So here, there's about t-shirt design generator. There's 1,000 people searching for this AI t-shirt design generator, 480. And it's so easy to rank for this. So I think this name would be quite good for us because there's some good traffic, 480 people per month. And there's difficulties 14, so it's not very difficult. So here, let's go back into ChatGPT and let's copy the first prompt. But first, I gotta make sure I copy the name of my GPT here. Let's go to the top and copy prompt number 1 into the GPT builder. But normally this should be into GPT builder. Let me click again on the green button. All right, so here we are in a conversation with the GPT builder. I can basically type this in, first prompt number 1. And I can go back for prompt number 2. So, but first, we got to make sure it names the GPT as AI t-shirt design generator. And so let's wait for it to give us an answer. It's going to give us some suggestions as to which name to use. So let's see what it says. How about design T? Well, actually, it's not bad, but I'm going to give it my own name because we've done the keyword research. We found that that one is really easy to build and easy to drive traffic to. So we have a higher chance of ranking on Google for this particular keyword rather than the other one. And I can go back into the ChatGPT chat on the other window and copy the second prompt. I'm going to say yes to the logo. I like it. And in the meantime, I'm going to paste in the second prompt. Okay. Yes to the logo, copy the second prompt. Then we can go back. I can go back to prompt number 3. And in this case, I ask it to generate 6 prompts because I want this to be a good logo generator. So copying prompt number 3. And going back and forth, copying prompt number 5 and then copying prompt number 6. So, yeah. Okay, so to further assistance, this is prompt number 4. Okay, so we gotta paste this in. Okay, so basically I'm going to type in this prompt and then I can go back for prompt number 5. And then there's prompt number 6, which is the final one, and we can test our GPT. So here we go. Let's paste the prompt number 5. Let's wait a second until the GPT builder responds and processes prompt number 4. So you just have to wait. Just have to wait for it until it processes the prompt that was before, and then you paste the second prompt and move on little by little. But the most important part is that everything is done for you, and it's optional. Now, of course, you might want to decide to do it otherwise, but I think working smarter, not harder, is the way to go. So here, I'm pasting the 6th and final prompt. It's basically taking it in. The GPT builder is taking it in. And these are the conversation starters, starting by the first one, which is, please review your design choices. Are you ready? And so on and so forth. Is everything correct in your design summary? And so on and so forth. And I can click right now on the green button and make sure I confirm that this should go live. And we can generate a couple of logos with it and move on. So here I'm going to click on confirm and we can generate some logos. So here, your custom design is being created. Right. So I'm going to say, please wait as we craft, regenerating your unique. Your custom design is on its way. Okay. I'm saying I'd like to design a vintage t-shirt design with a lion in it. I was going to paste that in. So here it's going to take that into consideration. It says, sounds like a fantastic idea. And let's see. So here it's basically giving me some questions, the theme, the color scheme, additional elements, and mood. And also, so basically I'm going to say the theme is maybe the 80s. Color scheme, the preferred colors for the t-shirt and design itself. Preferred color for the design is golden yellow. And additional elements besides the lion, would you like other elements to be included in the design? No. And then the mood, I would like it to, for example, it should be majestic. So I'm going to actually go for majestic And let me enter. And so now it should proceed on to generate the image as I described. So you're just saying, once you confirm the t-shirt base color, I'll get started on your design. Please wait a moment and I'll generate the design for you. So I'm going to say, I don't want you to generate a t-shirt. It should be a design. And that's it. So here it's basically going to create the image for us, which is going to be a t-shirt design. Now, the reason why I added that prompt is because I know for sure that ChatGPT can misinterpret the prompts. And so I might be thinking I'm trying to generate a t-shirt mock-up while I don't. I want to generate a design. And so this is the design. As you can see, really looks fabulous. I like it. I hope you do as well. And you can copy this image into a Canva file, a t-shirt Canva file, put it there. Quite frankly, there's really nothing for you to be afraid of regarding any copyright issues whatsoever with this particular type of t-shirt. The reason why I'm saying this is because it's just a lion. And yeah, I mean, nobody can sue you for creating a design with a lion in it. So as you can see, you just have to use common sense and you'll never have any issues. Now, where you might have issues with AI is, for example, if you generate some images where you're taking inspiration from a real person in a real world, a celebrity, someone that might not sit well with that. And so that's it for this particular lecture, and I'll see you in the final overview. Actually, that was just some fun because this is the final overview. The course is over, and I wish that you've enjoyed it. Stay tuned. Passive Income Gen Z, signing out.